Okay. First we will get a submarine, and then we continue with a Vaush browser. Make it smaller. Vaush will be here. Yeah, just so you know what we're up against. But first we get the... Hello! First we get the submarine, okay? Is it okay if we get the submarine first? Oh my gosh. Okay, first let's get the submarine. What the heck? Because you should enjoy some gaming as well. So now we go get the submarine. Thank you. Thank you, Giggler. Alright, so let's go here. We must go through that drama with shoe on hair, or as she's being called, blood on hair. Ooh. Oh wow. Oh, Boots Master 200. Wait, is the... No, the job is not yet mastered. This job is not yet mastered. This job is not yet mastered. And of course, this job is not yet mastered. So we're gonna go get the sub. Here. Oh. We save the game. Here we go. It is time. I think it's time. Possibly to get the sub. Oh, here, my head's spinning. Grandpa, you okay? I think I'm going to be sick, but first, the good news. We discovered some long-lost engineering techniques in an old book. Means we can upgrade the airship with submarine functionality. Really? What's Jet Forge of Fiesta? It's true, she's really good. I actually reacted to Demon Mama's video on Showhead. Oh, I have not done that. Should I do it in the future? I should. But now we're just finishing the games on stream. From the first one to the last one. Shouldn't take much longer. Wow, you two really work hard. Grandpa blames himself for the world having ended up like this. But it's not like there's anything he could have done. Oh, I might try it. But for now, we have to finish the whole series on stream. I know that. I think deep down he knows it too. From now on, he's determined to see his inventions used for peace. And that should do it, said Sid. Once you're in the water, press the confirm button and then the down arrow. The undersea world is yours to explore. Eh? Yeah. Actually, Bar Empanada did a reaction to that video. Boots, I can fight for beans. In fact, about all I'm good at is modifying machinery. Even so, I've tried to do everything I can to help you out. The rest is in your hands. Ma? Yeah. Like, it really, that was a good video. Lemon Mama has really good content. I must work to make as good content as Lemon Mama, you know? But I will do my best to elevate my content to a higher level, okay? I will do my best, Gigglers. And I too will have nice content. This is a promise, okay? Do I promise? Yeah, of course I promise. Do you know who I would be if I did not promise? I would be a coward. Come on. Not a real giggler, but a coward. Like a quacking phoenix, it's true. Like a quacky ducky. You understand me. I think things are getting better. True. It's true. Oh yeah. Hello, Maher. Hello, Maher. Who are you? Oh, hello, babies. I'm Mr. Cleo, your physics friend. I know all kinds of... Huh? Oh, wow. Okay. Oh my gosh. Really? Really, Quasar Knight? Wow. I did not know that. We might soon go back to the Vaush. Hello! Hello, Karasu. Karasu, we had actually a really... I talked to Sister Rose today about Roma issues, you know? We had a talk about that. And I might research projects related to Roma people. And if you're interested, we could discuss this together. Are you possibly interested in taking part in a project relating to Roma people? If we could write one and get funding? Because the biggest, years ago when I checked it, like the biggest problem was that the money was available, but nobody was able to write a good project on that would actually create good results, you know. So I think it's definitely crucial to talk to people who are really involved in working with Roma people to actually well, the thing is that we have to help you in your health. We have to help you, Carasso. You know? It's true. We must support you. It's time to help Carasso. Step by step, you know? Okay, I'm getting a bit lost. So I think it's time for us to make the game quieter and unpause our good friend of the channel, Vaush. And chou en hair or blue en hair? What take? Oh, that's because, and I'm saying this like as a Polish person, okay? Europe is extremely bigoted towards the Roma people, and the bigotry and racism are extremely normalized. It's really disgusting, you know, to see this level of bigotry, normalized bigotry. Maybe my own confirmation bias, but it's very hard finding Europeans, even in FT spaces, acknowledging discrimination of Roma people. So it's good to see people like Adam, something who pushes back against the prevailing sentiment. Like, it's horrible. Like, the prevailing sentiment is really horrible. And I would not say even that it's a confirmation bias. Like, the bigotry against Romani people is just really big, and Carasso will confirm it, okay? Carasso can speak a lot about this topic. Carasso is involved when it comes to the topic of the Romani people. You know. So yeah. Like, exactly, love and solidarity. We must support Carasso, like in, we must make sure that Carasso is okay. Carasso is a really good giggler, okay? So I will do my best from my end to try to, like, this is a great issue. Like, Carasso is a really, I'm really happy to have met Carasso. Okay, let's unpause the Vaush.
The far right. Are you really going to pretend Zan was the one who made up
True.
the LGBT comparison? Like Zan just produced that out of like he just constructed that?
Random response to my tweet and implied I was responsible for someone else's opinion and therefore fueling hate crimes against gay people with LGBT people. Where did this come from? This guy took a random response to my tweet.
That's an oomphy shoe. I know you have a lot of oomphies, but come on. How many followers this guy have? 100,000. This person's been on Tucker Carlson. Not really a rando.
And implied I was responsible for someone else's opinion. and
Oh,
therefore
thank you,
fueling hate
Dubcoin
crimes
TV. Hello,
against
welcome
gay
to the stream.
Yes.
Let's go through it together.
Yes, this is how information works.
It is.
If you popularize,
You know, I'm gonna give credit to Vaush. Vaush, I felt that there was some conflict of interest with Vaush being friends with Sean Head, that it might impair his critique. But I think Vaush is actually doing pretty well at pushing when it's you know, on the important things, like on her downplaying the far right narrative. I think this is going pretty well. Yeah, I think Vaush is doing pretty well when it comes to this. So nice. Okay, this is good. This is good.
an idea or promote it or broadcast it. Okay, I'm not going to even entertain this. This is f***ing stupid. Shu, are you playing dumb here? You know perfectly goddamn well how this works. The far right latched onto your tweets and immediately turned it into fuel for the fire of the anti-queer, like, pedo groomer bullshit that they're doing. Why are you pretending you don't understand this?
Exactly.
Why are you pretending this association was made by Zan?
Yeah.
I'm just confused how Balenciaga posting an ad of kids holding stuffed animals and fetish gear turned into LGBT groomer discourse. Did I miss something? Look at the quote tweets
You
and
missed
replies
a
to her
lot.
tweet thread from her followers. I have 500,000 followers on Twitter. I have over 1 million subscribers.
No, f this, dude. No, absolutely f this. Stop. We are way the
Exactly.
f too close to death camps to be pulling this I'm not responsible for my followers' behavior shit.
Exactly.
This isn't about being responsible for your followers. This is in an era where the entire
Thank
far
you.
right has completely thrown their
Thank
weight
you.
behind
Yeah, thank you. I also thought that this whole I'm not responsible for my audience is BS. Yeah, I do think people are a bit weird about Vaush and Shu, though. Yeah, they are. You are absolutely correct. Dubcon TV, they are being weird. But I didn't mean it in a weird way. I meant it in the way that if you're friends with someone, it can create a conflict of interest because it can sometimes be not so easy to criticize friends, you know, because they are your friends. You would like to believe that they can do better, that they are better, you know. When you're friends with someone, you want to believe in them, you know, that they are better people, if that makes sense, you know. After all, they are your friends. So even if they have some rough edges, you sort of believe that you can maybe steer them in a better direction, you know. There's sometimes the element of that, wanting to steer your friends to a better direction, because they are your friends, so you think you cannot just abandon them, you need to help them, right? Does that make sense? You want to help your friends. People say it about Vaush all the time, and then you can just cut to a clip of him saying don't do the bad thing and you can get banned if you do. They didn't take me to shame, Contra was bad though. Right. And there's this... I was thinking of something but I'm blanking out.
Queer groomer conspiracy. You posting something that, again, the post itself in a vacuum, I don't think was wrong. Balenciaga did do sussy shit. I don't think the post in a vacuum was wrong or harmful. But then, unfortunately, life is complicated. The far right rolls with it and turns it into this, the fuel for the conspiracy. And then to not only address or condemn that immediately in that thread, I don't know how Shu could have seen the tens or hundreds of thousands of far right people clearly making this about queer people. and not thrown up in her mouth. I have no idea how she can look at that. But she does spend like an awful lot of time like habitually communicating with far-right people. So I don't know if she just like pretends it doesn't happen or she ignores it. I don't know if it's because she's locked in like the tradwife block now. I mean, by being bi, I hope she understands there are literally laws being passed right now by the people who are agreeing with her that would make talking about her sexuality illegal in school up to 18. Like this isn't an environment where you can just throw shit out there and not like
I think
and
he's
just
good.
like absolve yourself of the consequences of any responsibility. It's not. That's not like a in a.
I think Vaush good, definitely. There's a lot of people who have problematic friends, although what makes things different in Shu's actions resulting in real-world harm before and again. So it's more raw than other issues. It's true, but I think Vaush is doing a pretty good job navigating this and criticizing Shu for the bad behavior. So I think this is going pretty well so far, this video, from what I'm seeing. Vaush is not going quite as holistically hard as Demon Mama, but he's giving pretty salient critique. So I imagine that his audience is upset given how many are in the US and part of are adjacent to the LGBT community, right? Yeah, that's true. You know? Like she really, and she said at the beginning, oh, I was so surprised to see it become so big, but she keeps doing it. This is like a pattern at this point, you know? This is a pattern of behavior.
Opinion either. This isn't like a light disagreement.
Yeah, exactly.
On YouTube, I am not the retard wrangler. There were a few people, not that many, who took my tweet and ran with their own narrative of it. I cannot control the
What? Why is she not calling out the far right?
Exactly.
Some people who took their own direction? What the do you mean? It was a huge wave of majority far right people. Why aren't you mentioning the direction they took it in?
Exactly.
Like, see,
these are good
posting
questions.
the Balenciaga shit and not following it up with a condemnation of the far right attention, that to me, this can be like irresponsibility. The framing in this video feels like malice.
True.
opinions of other people.
I mean, yeah, it does.
People
I'm sorry.
aren't even in my audience.
That's
They're just
correct.
random people on Twitter who found my tweet because it went viral.
Shoo, this isn't content creator drama. Shoo.
Yeah,
I
what
know
the
you're
hell?
listening to me either right now or in the future. This isn't content creator drama.
Exactly.
We're not just YouTubers. We have public audiences. There are outcomes
True.
to our behavior. The words we say.
Thank you. Like, I know that, like, Steven Universe people would disagree, but yeah, exactly, Vaush. We are more than just YouTubers. Exactly. Like, we try to create outcomes in the real world. We try to affect things. You know? Exactly. This is perfect. You are good at this.
Speak resonate with huge numbers of people.
Exactly.
Oh, I've got so many followers. I don't even. This is like Weimar
Yeah.
Republic, like signal boosting a giant story about like some Christian kid getting hurt, and then instantly the Nazi media.
To be fair, I feel that many streamers, essayists, and now on the treat friendships and public business deals and persona as one and the same, which cause things to like this to happen and add personal parasocial fans. Yeah, true. So there's a lot of incentive to cut off ties and stuff, which makes things more dramatic in ways you don't often see with other media. Right. There's a weird kayfabe and defensiveness, as well as hatred and conspiracy. It's sad how few people seem trustworthy, having rebirth on a lot of creators, right? That is not good. But I think Vaush is doing pretty well here.
Takes it and starts talking about Jews, and later when the left is like, "Yo, Shu, what the?" You're like, the left's trying to cancel me for calling out this murder and dismemberment of this one Christian kid. Some people might have taken it in some other direction. I don't know. But, like, it's not Like, this is a deliberately bad faith framing of the situation.
Exactly. Notice that Shu is actually directly naming the progressive side, but really avoids talking about the far right, which to me is endorsement of the far right. Let's be honest about it, right? If you keep criticizing one side and never mention the other, then you are at least quietly endorsing the other. This is my opinion on the issue. It may sound paranoid, but I don't go into online lefty spaces for friendships. I have my own real life friends I can trust. I can still respect and support creators I like. But I consider friendships personal, and mixing the two is not a good idea. The defensiveness is, dare I say, reactionary. Good, I got married and just dropped my in-laws off at airport sites. Oh, nice, thank you. Play Shin Megami Tensei. I should play Shin Megami Tensei on stream. I think I am willing to take the risk and befriend some people online. I have a few really good friends that I have met online, you know? So I think it's possible. I think the mama could be a friend material. Or Doe. Doe could be a friend material. You know? Especially she's Doe. It has a really beautiful voice. From what I'm hearing so far, Vaush's criticisms are great, but on a personal level, I can only imagine the tension this is going to cause between him and Shu. Yeah, you're correct. It probably will. But her framing is dishonest. I would cut off a friend who did anything close to this. Yeah, that's true. You know? That's true.
If this was meant to be good faith, why are you not pointing out the reasons they're upset?
That is how a public forum works. If someone is egregiously being homophobic or harassing people in my replies, I'll just block them. There's nothing else I can do. What do you want me to do?
Publicly in that tweet thread, call out the far right for what they're doing, and in your subsequent video, acknowledge the actual harm that was done. That's it. That's all you have to do. You're not just a random forum poster.
True.
You can just condemn
You're a
it
huge
with the same
figure.
platform that you used to spread it to begin with.
Yeah. You're a huge public
About the
figure.
opinions of other people. Why don't you focus on what I said and did? Is it because
No. Shu, I know you know this. We are too close. This is not about you.
True.
Get over yourself.
This is much bigger.
This is not some, hysterical left freaked out over my... It's not.
Yeah.
This isn't... It's not your personal content or branding. You understand. I know you know this because you're taking selfies with Blake Masters. I know you know what the far right are like. I know you know they
Exactly.
exist. You're not in a bubble. You interact with more people across the political spectrum than almost anyone. More than anyone else I know. You know what's going on right now.
Exactly.
You cannot
Well said,
just be
Vaush.
the oops tee-hee arbiter of far-right politics.
Exactly.
The least you could do is in this video explain why the left is angry. Like, if you
But
could say,
you
hey,
don't
and I
care.
understand why lefties are freaking out because the far right immediately launched off with this tweet. And again, there's still some stuff in the video to go, and we'll get to that. But I do think even if it's presented later, you need to front load that shit.
It's not
But we'll see.
presented later.
because
It's
I
not.
said and did
It's not
nothing
presented
wrong?
at
I mean this
all.
with the most respect possible. Posting this a day after a homophobic terror attack that happened because the
You just attacked Demon,
rumor scare
Mama.
comes off in very bad taste. I think choosing to bring this to light right after the shooting is phenomenally poor taste. She went ahead throwing queers under the bus right after a mass shooting to cater to her homophobic audience. There was a mass shooting in a gay club in Colorado a few days before this Balenciaga thing broke. And because there was a shooting at a gay nightclub, I can't talk about pedophilia.
Holy shit. Shu, you f***ing retard. Listen, you either are or you
True.
pretend. If you sincerely think that's what's happening here, do I even need to expend energy like explaining the problem here. Shoot, you are
Yeah.
so attached to your infantile free speech extremist bullshit, where the greatest crime in the universe is criticizing you and the things you say, that you're incapable of understanding or at least acknowledging the broader context
Well
of
said,
what's going on
Vaush.
here. It was not you talking about pedophilia. It was a far-right moral panic that you contributed to.
True.
Listen, it happens. Last year, during the annual drag pride show, Kink at Pride discourse, I said some stuff that I later came to regret. I think that there were some issues I was reactionary on, and I did contribute to some reactionary tendencies. You know what? That shit happens. That's fine. The difference is I didn't then spend the rest of my life pretending that everyone who had a problem with me only did so because they hate my free speech and because they're all like pro-pedophilia or whatever the framing we're going for here. The people who took issue with my behavior
Yeah,
back then
Vaush
did so
can correct
because my
himself.
framing was such that I
Because
enabled
Vaush actually
a
cares
narrative
about the
of
issues.
irresponsible child predation.
Like, this is the problem. I feel that Siobhan Head does not care about those issues, even though Vaush says like she actually does, but she doesn't show it, that's for sure.
Pride, which isn't a thing that happens. It's not a thing that happens.
She
There's no
doesn't
statistical evidence to indicate this is any more a problem than children being predated
Yeah,
on
Vaush is
in
on
any
fire.
other like public event. I mean, that stuff happens everywhere, of course, but it's not a disproportionate problem. It's not a pride problem. Kink at Pride isn't a problem. I mean, maybe there's some people being extra wacky, but again, you can apply that to literally any situation. So that's not really like a specific fair criticism. But I didn't then go on to pretend like, you know, oh yeah, this is some like coordinated left effort to cancel me because they hated how I called out pedophilia. Because that's not what you're doing here, Shu. If you actually let's be real, Shu, if you gave a about pedophilia, then you would go to any one of the innumerable websites that talk about the actual ways in which you can help mitigate child sexual abuse and help victims of child sex trafficking. And none of them are fueling far-right conspiracies like the Wayfair cabinet, Pizzagate, Balenciaga shit. None of this helps anyone. It doesn't. You're not going to fix anything. None of this changes. None of this solves anything. No children are being saved. The best thing that you can do is promote, hey, child sex education. One of the #1 things shown to actually reduce child sexual abuse. And by the way, something opposed by all the people who freaked out over the tweet you posted. You created and contributed to an element of a moral panic led by people who are looking for ways to mathematically worsen child sexual abuse.
True.
But do you talk about this? No.
No.
Instead, you pretend that leftists who are concerned with the far-right moral panic are actually going after you because you had the audacity to go after pedophilia? Come on.
What? To shitpost the LGBT community
Very
on
dishonest.
Trans Day of Remembrance is so disrespectful, I don't even know what to say. Same vibe as criticizing veterans on Veterans Day. Let me get this straight. Criticizing a fashion brand for pedobaiting on Trans Day of Remembrance is the same as criticizing veterans on Veterans Day?
It's not. That was a dumb comparison.
Yeah.
So I'll just leave that one aside.
Bro, you don't even need the far right at this point. You're doing their
Now the far right is mentioned, 11 minutes in.
Interesting.
job
But
for them. What the even if I saw it from their
really
perspective, like even if I
weird
removed my
way.
brain and replaced
Like,
it with a little
yeah.
monkey with
Okay, the far right was mentioned, but in a really weird way. We have massive issues of sex trafficking and child exploitation in Europe around how we treat immigrants. Yeah, Demon Mama did a really good job at explaining that this sort of thing just hurts victims. Like, I think if I make a segment of this, I will make a segment that will be a combination of my reaction to Demon Mama's and Vaush's video. Do you think it's a good idea? I will make this combo of my reaction to both Demon Mama and Vaush, and I will pick the best scenes, the best memes. What do you think? This kind of movie conspiracy style of engagement with abuse is not helpful. It's actually actively hurtful, I would even argue. Karasu, you know? You have to treat those things actually seriously and with responsibility. If you really want to help, you get involved with organizations that combat this sort of thing, and you sort of try to work together with them. You know? This is how you do it, right? The main character syndrome. Yeah, there is something to that.
or whatever they have going on up there, even if I saw it from their point of view. If the issue they have with all of this is that I shouldn't be talking about this.
Shu, this is like just, this is such a standard response, isn't it? That when somebody does something wrong or says something stupid or it gets blown out into the wrong way or whatever, and then like in response to my attempted cancellation, they want to silence me. They don't want me to talk.
True.
It's just like the standard thing that comes out, you know?
Yep.
At a time where gay groomer rhetoric is popular, why aren't they mad at Balenciaga for doing an ad like this at the time the gay groomer thing is popular?
Even if we were to accept that these two things are equivalent and that, you know, for some reason they should criticize, like they can't criticize you because they have to criticize Balenciaga. The critical difference here is that Balenciaga is a multi-billion-dollar fashion company who already did the press release. The attention was given to it by you. The far-right framing was given to it by you. You are someone who can be reached and talked to. In terms of getting angry at stuff online, attacking Balenciaga would be like getting mad at the state of Iran. As opposed to, say, a far-right commenter in the United States who said that the woman who got beaten to death by the moral police officer deserved it because she was a slut. The level of proximity dictates the likelihood of actually going at people. And this is a bullshit deflection as well, because you could run this with anything. Oh, why are you getting mad at me for promoting this bill? I'm not the one who wrote it. Why aren't you getting mad at Senator so-and-so?
Exactly.
Oh, why are you mad at Senator so-and-so? It was actually the party whip and strategist who came up with the idea of promoting this strategy. Why aren't you going after them? You can always pass the buck. At the end of the day, you still made a mistake, and you're continuing to make it in this video. This video is worse than what you did on Twitter.
You want to help the kids? You live in UK, Rose, the new asylum-seeking laws that restricts kids to apply asylum without adult supervision. Yeah, exactly. I will debate, couple, don't worry. We will have a big debate.
It's not a valid deflection. Especially since, again, like, going after Balenciaga in this respect does not, like, protect children in any fashion whatsoever.
Exactly.
Why aren't they directing their anger at the brand? Why are they shooting the messenger? The worst part about this is that this tweet came from a YouTuber who I've been friends with.
Also, Demon Mama said it, I will repeat it. Shoonhead is a brand, okay? She has 1,600,000 subscribers. Shoe on Head is a brand.
4 years. Why is this person, who I thought was my friend, doing this unhinged Stretch Armstrong reach?
Off. I like how in this picture you clip out the friend and oomphy of yours who's been on Tucker Carlson, who was directly linking it to queer people. How is it a reach when he's just pointing out the response of hundreds of thousands of people who jumped on to the tweets that you made? And how is this... This is such a fake weaponization of friendship here. You blocked Zan, not the other way around.
Right.
You might block me after this. And yeah, Zan has been getting death threats from far-right people for days now, who have been saying, you know, you're not safe, don't go outside at night, you're a pedophile, blah, blah. All he did was
Shoe
point out
fans
that
have been calling him a pedophile.
The M2. As a way of promoting the anti-queer conspiracy, and that you have enabled that and done nothing to mitigate that whatsoever. Which is completely correct. This tweet is completely correct.
To imply I am responsible for the murder of LGBT people. This isn't how you would treat a friend. This isn't criticism. This isn't a joke. This is disgusting.
It's not a joke. It is criticism.
Yeah.
And yeah. Shoot,
it's fair
you don't have to do anything yourself to contribute to the harm of queer people. At all.
Exactly.
You realize that, right?
All you have to do is utilize your massive platform, because you are a brand, whether you like to admit it or not.
If you go back into the any pre-genocide period, any point in time in any country, in any culture, with any group of people, before a historical genocide takes place, there are plenty of people who, without directly promoting any of the beliefs or institutions that were
Still
involved in the
contributed to the
genocide,
genocide.
nonetheless enabled it by promoting
Yep.
adjacent ideas. We see this all the time with these centrists, with
Exactly.
the enlightened
You're true.
skeptics, with the
You're right.
libertarians, who ostensibly, nominally, don't agree with the ideologies that they bolster, but nonetheless end up doing the same thing.
Yep.
Think of, for example, Bill Barr, right? That's the name,
It's called being a useful idiot.
right? Bill Barr. He's the guy I'm thinking of, right? He's the guy who has the talk show. He did the thing. Yeah, Bill Maher. No, not Bill Burr. Bill Maher. I was in between those two. Bill Maher. Maher? Is it Maher? Why would you not type it phonetically? Maher? Mar? It's Mar? Okay, thank you. I don't know why a bunch of people started spamming Maher. Whatever. Anyway, Bill Maher. Bill Maher is not, you know, a far-right guy, according to him and some other people.
Right.
However, he has talked about trans people as a social contagion on his show.
Oh, no.
He's talked about how Gen Z has so many queer people in it that if you keep by the current rate of growth, eventually all humans are going to be queer or whatever. He's talking about it like it's a social contagion. Now,
Oh, no.
Bill Maher may not personally want to do a trans genocide. I don't think that he does. However, he is spreading the social contagion rhetoric,
exactly.
which is exactly what
to me
people who want to kill trans people believe.
To me, that makes him a bigot, but...
Bill Maher
you know.
may not personally believe in the trans death camps or whatever, but by promoting the ideology that leads to it, he's nonetheless complicit, and the blood would
Yeah.
be on his hands if anything like
Exactly.
that were to happen.
I
He may
agree.
be indignant about that, and you know what?
I agree 100%. The blood is on his hands.
People like that tend to take it to their grave. People like Bill Maher go their entire lives without ever acknowledging what they've done. This happens all the time.
It does.
Nobody wants to take responsibility for the outcomes of their behavior.
Exactly.
But the world is built on the outcomes of people's behavior. And a lot of that
True.
behavior is not deliberate. The world
You
is
have to be
entirely
careful about your
Disgusting.
behavior.
I just don't understand, like, if you had a problem, why didn't you come to me in private? Why did you have to make it into some public sideshow, epic dunk for the world
Like, you have to be very careful about your behavior. Exactly. Exactly right.
to see? Maybe this is karma, because
I don't... you did something publicly, he responded publicly. At least you can't say that about me, because I certainly talked to her about this.
dropped friends over politics before. Because honestly, I can't find any other explanation for this. But this wasn't even political.
None at all.
Like I couldn't think of an optically worse thing to drop someone over.
This is
Like, I know
not
you used to be
political,
right-wing.
huh?
Contribution to a far-right moral panic is actually a pretty
Demon Mama
legitimate
is
reason to be
on
upset
point.
with somebody. I thought Zan DM'd her and didn't respond.
Nazis in their audience with fodder they can use to justify the murder of gay people, but this time the day after.
Also, Xanderha is also a really good creator, you know. He gets a lot of flack, and he has not always 100% amazing things, but Xanderha is good, you know. He is good on many issues, and he tries to do right by marginalized communities. I doubt Zan and Shu are even that close for Zan to reach out for her to in private, right? Alexander Hall sticks out for the marginalized communities, you know, when it counts, you know, and that is important. What is important to see which people will sort of stick by their principles when it is not convenient to do so. Anybody,
Oh yeah, I know that.
anybody can be an amazing ally when it's convenient, but the real test is when it's not convenient and profitable to be like an amazing ally, you know? When it gets tough. And Xanderhal is getting like real hate from a huge community of Shuonhead right now.
I thought this would
So
be
he
evidence
deserves our
that
support.
he DM'd her.
Personally, I can't relate, but not everything related to pedophilia has to do with gay people.
Well, Shoo. If only there wasn't an entire half of the political wing of this country that believes that the two are inimicably intertwined.
True. And people that you are
All
friends with.
Did she keep that tweet up? She might have deleted it by now, but I want everyone to fully understand that there is no ambiguity when it comes to the reception the Balenciaga tweet got.
True.
It is not... Oh yeah, here it is, from November 20th.
It's not ambiguous.
128,000 likes, 11.2 thousand quote tweets.
Of course, she is a huge
If you go through all
public
this,
figure.
and I'm not the best one to like scroll through all of it.
Almost
because
as big as me.
I'm friends with progressives, so they're going to show up at the top. There is an overwhelming, like, far-right... In fact, I don't know if I can think of a popular far-right pundit who did not respond to this.
Yeah.
Overwhelmingly.
Because that's what happens with Sean
a,
Head.
With the, like, it's part of, like...
That is the pattern, isn't it? That Sean Head does a ridiculous tweet, and then all the far-right pundits jump on it. Like flies.
Clear, pedophilia stuff. I mean, shit, it got retweeted by Libs of TikTok. The terrorist account.
Oh, Zanderhal.
There's Cernovich.
Maybe I
Liz
should
Wheeler in the comments.
react to Zanderhal as well.
Jackson
and I should...
Hinkle, who's a Nazi. I wish there was...
Okay. Press 1 if you want me to react to Zanderhal, reaction to Sean Head then, next. And if you want me to cut together a segment that will be a combination of Demon Mama, Vaush, and Zanderhal, and my reaction to them all. Press 1 if you would like me to create a segment that is like a mixture of all of the reactions with my reactions on top. That
There's a
could
way
be a
to,
pretty
sort
interesting thing.
replies to a tweet by likes. I don't know why there isn't. Twitter sucks.
Press 1 if you would like
Maybe
that.
Elon Musk taking over it is a good thing. 'Cause,
Press
like,
2
so
if
shit
it's a bad
anyway.
idea.
There are actually so many services on Twitter that it's
It
amazing.
would?
they don't
Maybe,
exist.
but it
Shu
should be
needs to stop
interesting.
the conspiracy posting. Ah yes, the conspiracy. The conspiracy that the fashion industry is f***ed up and weird. The conspiracy that the powerful elites are abusing children.
It is conspiracy posting. You can defend it on those grounds. But it is
It's true,
conspiracy
it
posting.
is.
Like, the implication of your posts were 100% that this is some kind of, like, part of...
Oh, keep in mind, I would cut it up, so I would choose the parts that I would see as the best. So it would not be the whole thing just cut up together into 10 hours of a segment. I would choose the best parts, So it would be heavily edited. It would not just be all 3 of them. That's the problem, isn't it? It doesn't really matter if the one, if you would like me to create like a heavy edited combination of my reaction to Demon Mama, Vaush, and Zanderhal on the shoe thing, and 2, if you think that it's not a good idea. That's the problem, isn't it? It doesn't really matter if the itself tweet was not problematic or not meant to be. What matters is the effect it had, which really emboldened the far right. Yeah, it's true. I am watching Vaush now, and Zanderhal I can do offline. Zanderhal I could do offline. I don't have to watch all of them online. But I could choose the best parts and my reactions to them. Sort of like a boom, boom, boom.
of the I mean, you just said that there. Like, what you're describing is a conspiracy. Like, you can just acknowledge that. It's fine.
That conspiracy. The worst part is she pretends to be gay so she can yell homophobe when you call her out. I'm convinced Shu has no real political opinions and just says/believes whatever sounds good to her. Isn't that what an opinion is? Begging people to finally realize Shu is literally...
Well,
No.
no. Because if you have real political convictions, sometimes those lead you to outcomes which aren't, like, good, to, like, don't immediately feel intuitively good.
Exactly.
Like, sometimes they might lead you to hard truths that you have to acknowledge. That might be a bit of a self-report there.
Yeah.
The idea that, like, having political opinion...
Which is interesting, because Demon Mama also has described it as a self-report, you know? And I still think the photos were not as sus as Vaush made it out. Yeah, I think so too. So yeah, I wonder if Xanderhal will also call it a self-report, because that might be interesting in that segment thing when Demon Mama will call it self-report and then Vaush and I actually agree. So I wonder if Xanderhal will come to the same conclusion.
Is the same as just saying what you think at the moment.
Yeah, that's,
Really just right-wing. Shu is a conservative, no matter how many lefties try to say otherwise. There's a term coined by Lindsay Ellis that I think fits Shu. She's a diet Nazi. Shu on head is...
That's like a really bad way to create opinions, you know, by just what feels good.
a right-wing propagandist. She is likely paid to be so either directly or indirectly. I f***ing hate Shu. She's not a leftist. She's a fascist who wants healthcare. Does this look like a fascist to you? She needs to be kicked
Thank you.
out of the left like yesterday. She is a fascist. If you are denying it at this point, you are just a simp. Shu on head is a right-wing paid propagandist infiltrating leftist spaces. She's a calculated and insincere plant, and she needs to be excommunicated. We need to boot Shu from the left. She isn't a leftist. At this point, we just have to not let Shu exist on the left anymore. Inevitably, she is going to leave the left, and it will not be surprising. So first of all, if I was going to leave the left over left-wing people being mean to me, I would have left the left like 8 years ago. I know it's hard for these people to understand because their extent of politics is quite literally Discord servers and Reddit communities. You cannot be kicked out of opinions. Like, I could call myself a right-winger right now, but I would be the shittiest right-winger ever.
I do want to say, though, that she is objectively correct on this one point. This obsession with whether or not somebody is in or out of the left is infantile, and it betrays people's obsession with social spaces. You cannot be admitted to or removed from a political ideology. No one has any control over that. You can consider her what you want, but the idea of, like, when is she going to leave the left? The term leave the left refers to a very specific and cringy kind of, like, coming out video for conservatives. It doesn't refer to, like, the actual process of crossing a line. There is no line. It can't possibly exist. But a lot of people are obsessed with that. This is one of the reasons why my greatest triggers, oh, I hate it when people do this. People get mad at me for admitting Shu into the left, which is insane for so many different reasons. One of which being I don't have that power. Second of which being I'm the most controversial person on the entirety of the online left, and therefore I have no idea what my word on this would... Yeah, okay. What they actually seem to mean is, like, they're mad at me for getting along with her. I genuinely don't know what the criticism actually is supposed to mean. Focus on criticizing the ideas, not people's imaginary participation in some kind of, like, walled-off section of online political discourse.
Probably
I guess that's fair enough.
Socialism thing? The whole being a socialist might get in the way. But more important...
You're not a... Shu. You're not a... Shu.
That's fair. And about the court case, there are a lot of explanations for it that aren't conspiracy related, but DM went into that already. Yeah, Demon Mama did a really good job at explaining that one. Absolutely. Also, the vague CP document talk for the case about CSM and being against it, so it's so loaded and disingenuous. Ironically, Vaush once said he tried to pull Shu to the left himself. Well, you know. By that, maybe he meant make her more left-wing. But I think he meant something a bit different.
You're a social democrat, you liberal.
Like, I don't know, what about me calling shit like this out makes me not left-wing? It genuinely feels like some massive psyop. Like, I want workers' rights and for people to have their basic necessities met. I didn't sign up for this weird-ass shit.
Okay, remember what I said about there being a difference between one's political beliefs and the outcomes of those political beliefs? I'll give you
True.
another example in another historical situation that we're probably not that familiar with, so that I can break up the mold a little bit, okay?
Okay.
Nazi Germany, okay?
I
Now,
see.
as you all know, there are a lot of
Okay.
wealthy capitalist bankers out there who do lots of bad stuff, aren't there? Oh,
Right.
we lefties sure do know it. Oh boy, do we hate our wealthy capitalist bankers. Now, if you can imagine such a thing, I think it might actually be a little bit irresponsible if one was a popular, publicly powerful leftist in, say, 1933 Germany, to put long screeds out there on how the German people are being exploited by the wealthy elite and bankers, how the German worker is being exploited by the robber baron, the plutocrat, and then immediately put your hands in the air and go, "Whoop! I'm not looking at the comments. I'm not responsible for anything anyone says. Goodbye." And then when, I don't know, Jews go up to you and they're like, "Hey, Shu, what the?" And you look at them and you're like, "What? I can't. What? You have a problem with me calling out big banks? You know?"
Also, this is not as well. This is not as much known, I've noticed, as many people think. I guess what politics is more complicated than I want good things for everyone. True. Zan put shoes into the best. She wants all the influence, but not the responsibility. That's true. Neil Dashaka, that's certainly true. Only someone really sheltered could say something like that. I will tell you this. In Germany, when the Nazis did their campaigning to win the votes to actually get into the government, Hitler himself, during the campaign, said to the party to quiet down the anti-Semitic sentiment because he wanted the vote from wealthy Jewish people. People really ignore the fact that Nazis during their campaigning were a lot more careful and covert with their harmful beliefs than what people would have you believe. The real, actual, Nazi party, the historical Nazi party, also did dog whistling, also during campaigning pretended not to be anti-Semitic. Hitler instructed the party to quiet down with the anti-Semitism during the campaigning to get as many votes as possible. And later, you know what happened. Okay? You know what happened after they got into the government. So this is really important because people try to downplay dog whistling. People try to downplay dishonest actors by treating the Nazi party like the party that was always loud and open with their hurtful beliefs. That was not always the case. Okay? I think it is really important to remember that. I heard Stardust made excuse of her own with thumbnail on Spencer that it was her editor's work. That's right, Karasu. Actually, I have played a fragment of this video today. Just today, on this stream, we have heard Stardust throw her editor under the bus by saying that it was just the editor, not herself, that chose the thumbnail. And then Counterpoint said that is just the name of the game, and this is how it is, which is of course ridiculous and very, it's the lure of fame and celebrity and the way it becomes a vicious cycle. And this is a little bit of mixing roles that we are both creators and consumers in social media sites. True. I'm full of humor, but I don't take it out on the people around me who we have to work for a better future. We do! And I think love and solidarity is the way, and I think we can do this. We can do this together. Okay? There's a toxic system that reinforces and creates those behaviors, but I will still try my best not to partake. True, Karasu. She did sing nicely.
Sorry, you have to keep an eye on the times, okay? Nobody is impressed with anyone's ability to be just, like, nominally progressive.
True.
There's nothing in the world less impressive than saying that you're pro-women's rights or pro-socialism. Oh, you've said it? Oh, you've said... Oh, that's great. You've said you're progressive?
Amazing.
Oh, what is this, like a male feminist thing? You know what I mean? Like, oh, you've said you respect women's rights? Here's my glistening pussy, all right? No. The actual cool thing
is
that you
to
can
do the progressive thing.
do progressive things.
We said it together. We said it together, okay? Great minds think alike. Okay, all right. I knew. Now we say the same things together, but now we also need to have the same audience size together, okay? That needs to happen. I need to become bigger. But yeah, did you hear? We just said it together. Okay? It's true, we will keep you grounded. Dark figures like him with the aim of the other critical support as we all should do. It's true. It's true. And I will become angry and scream at chat.
Things
like all streamers
affect
should.
Outcomes in that fashion. Make the world more this, you know? So ultimately, even if what you're doing and saying is in line, you know, generally.
I mean, basically, actions speak louder than words, right? Words are cheap.
With what a progressive might
Words
do or
are
say.
cheap.
If the outcomes of those behaviors are an emboldening of a Nazi moral panic,
Then
it doesn't matter.
we know where you stand.
Understand? You all have to. This isn't just consequentialism, by the way. This is not like an esoteric, hyper-specific, like moral framework that only I subscribe to.
Exactly. This is just actions speak louder than words. That is what it like. There's nothing more to it than that. Actions speak louder than words. You can scream all you want about being progressive. You have to prove it, at least at some point. You know, oh, it's the Polish blood. Yeah, I guess.
Like, deontologists also subscribe to this belief. The idea that, like, it's not just about how, like, what you say you are, but what you actually do, the outcomes you bring about.
Yeah.
And I have to hold you to those standards.
Exactly.
Because we all do. We already hold each other to these standards. We already do that. I mean, I can bring this back to the most simple possible example to explain how psychotic this would be, okay?
Okay.
Imagine that you have a roommate and a friend. They're the same person. You're friends with the roommate. And you enter the kitchen while they're cooking. And, you know, they're making, like, something. They're pulling something out of the oven.
Lasagna.
And you walk in and you say, oh, hi, friend. But because you turn the corner too sharply right as they're getting up with the thing they got out of the oven, you end up hitting them in the shoulder, causing them to drop, I don't know, boiling hot, like, lasagna. Lasagna.
Oh my god! Oh my god, I swear I did not pre-watch this video. I just said lasagna. Oh my god. I did not expect this. I did not pre-watch this video. I swear. I swear I did not. Oh my gosh. Lasagna. Okay. I guess we do. I guess our minds are connected. Maybe Daniel is more right than maybe Daniel is more correct than we all expected, okay? Maybe we are connected. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I did not pre-watch.
They shatter the glass. It hits their foot. 400-degree lasagna gets everywhere.
I didn't.
Glass all over their foot. Third-degree burns.
Oh
Dinner
my
is ruined.
gosh.
Everything is okay? Now, obviously, you got to go to the hospital for this. That's gonna hurt, you know. And they're in the
Oh my.
hospital, you know, and you follow along, whatever. And they're there, you know, their foot's got bandages, and they're like, don't you have something you want to say? And you're like, what? And they're like, you hit me, you hit my shoulder, you made this happen. And you're like, I waved my arm to say hi to you. I didn't mean to knock the lasagna. And they're like, okay, I know you didn't mean to, but like, and you're like, what did I do? You have a problem with me waving hi at you? Wave hi at you in the future? Like, what, do you have an issue with that? Should I stop doing that?
Thank you. God night.
Do you think I'm making a joke?
Thank you
That's
for
exactly
coming.
what's happening here.
I hope to see you
With
again.
no exaggeration. This is literally a one-to-one comparison.
Hope to see you again.
There's actually no difference.
true.
The only distinction here is that the behavior Shu's engaging in is abstracted because it's so much bigger.
Right.
It's more widespread. It's harder to immediately quantify, but it is the exact same logic. Now, interpersonally, you would think the person, that guy who hit your shoulder, you would think they're kind of a psycho. The way they're like reframing your upsetness with the consequences of their behavior as like
True. Bye-bye. Hope to see you again.
an attack on them. That's like really psychotic behavior
True.
interpersonally.
It is.
Here, I guess it's just standard politics, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to call it out.
I'm just so tired of like trying to prove to these people that I'm left-wing. I'm just tired of being like, no, you don't understand. I voted for Bernie in 2016 and in 2020. I believe this and I believe that. I'm tired. I'm too old for this shit.
Like, it's like what my mom said. If something happens to a one person, it's really emotional and upsetting. But the more people it involves, the more abstract it becomes in people's minds.
I am exhausted.
Do you think there might be something you're doing that constantly sows doubt to this effect?
True. A certain
I mean, like,
pattern, even, of behavior.
leaving aside the enabling of the far-right moral panic and the constantly fraternizing with far-right people.
True.
That photo with Blake Masters framing his, like, insane policy, as like, single income pilled or whatever,
These people just want me to be some like progressive little shit lib rising from the ashes of like the anti-SJW world. They want me on my hands and knees groveling and apologizing for making like stupid level 1 baby edgy jokes about attack helicopters.
No. That's not what's happening here.
Exactly.
They're not mad at you for making attack helicopter jokes in 2015. They're mad at you
Exactly.
because a month ago, less than a month ago,
You enabled the far
an
right.
existing far-right moral panic that everyone knows exists, including you, that poses a real threat to the lives of millions of people, was emboldened and empowered by something that you accidentally did.
Accidentally, again. Okay? If, like, it's not the first time, that's what makes it even worse. It's like, we should be quantifying it accidentally again. Okay? That's unimportant. Also, I am the oldest person in the universe. But yeah, that's an important thing to add, in my opinion. She, quote unquote, accidentally, oops, I did it again, quite literally. She might as well be saying that at this point. You know? Basically, you might as well at this point just have her say, whoops, I did it again.
I don't think Shu posted the
Oh,
Balenciaga shit with the
interesting.
intention of
Ben, you're in
enabling the far
space.
right. Personally, I think that's a ridiculous accusation. I don't believe that at all. I think Shu did something that if given the opportunity, I would have done the same, and she just took no accountability after the fact, no matter.
Hello, I'm from New Zealand. Love hearing your thoughts and have subscribed. Have a lovely day. Thank you so much, Courtney. Thank you for subscribing, and I hope to see you, more of you in the future, okay? Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love having new gigglers, okay? I hope you enjoy the stream, and I hope we will have like many, many adventures together.
How it went, you know? It's not like
Also, the difference between Vaush and Maher is that with Vaush, having bad hurtful takes is not a pattern, and with Maher it is. Oh, Canadian here. Yeah, this drama didn't happen in a vacuum like some defenders seem to claim. Like, it's a pattern with Shoe on Head. That's the big problem.
I don't say that ultra-wealthy people are pedophiles. I do! I say that! I don't disagree with her on that. I do think the Balenciaga shit is weird. The initial behavior on her part, the posting the Balenciaga stuff, I don't think that's wrong. It led to a bad outcome, yes, but the initial action, the initial intent, the drive to do that, I don't think those things are wrong, and I'm not criticizing her for it. I'm criticizing her for everything that has happened since then, not helicopter jokes. I mean, she can't make that criticism of me because I obviously don't have an issue with edgy helicopter jokes. I vomit slurs when given the chance.
Oh my god.
5 years ago. They want me saying we need to destigmatize pedophilia or want me sipping for the...
Shu, I would really appreciate it if you would not frame the left's position on you as wanting you to destigmatize pedophilia.
True.
Be very cool if that was not the characterization of the left that you made, i.e. further emboldening the far-right perspective on, like, framing. Who said that? I'll tell you who said that. This was an argument between Shu and Hunter Avalone a little while ago. I don't remember all the details, but the basic gist is this, okay? So I'm going to skip past all of the wheedling and all the explanation. I'm just going to say this very factually, okay? If you want to protect kids, you want pedos to go to therapy. Simple as. If you disagree with that, it's because you are either pro-pedophilia or yourselves a pedophile. We all know that actual pedophiles, like those lolly shits on Twitter, love calling other people pedos because, you know, if the finger's pointed away from you, it's not pointed at you. If you want to stop children from being harmed, you want pedos to go to therapy. Some people have said, and I think there is some truth to this, that the hyper-punitive attitude that people have online, where they're screaming, kill all pedophiles, kill all pedophiles, kill all pedophiles. Well, you know, again, it's inspired by good intentions, might lead to an attitude where it discourages pedos from going to therapy and therefore increases the number of children harmed. Yeah. I don't know how much data there is on this specifically, but I do think whatever outcomes leads to pedophiles going to therapy is the best one. You know, like whatever leads to that outcome is the one that harms the least children, objectively. I'm not arguing on this. That is a fact. If you disagree, it's because you want to rape children or want to watch other people rape children. Could be either, you know? So, Hunter made the points that I just made. I don't know if he made them in the same way. I don't know how eloquently he made them. I don't know if he framed them in between a bunch of insults against Shu. I assume he did because he really doesn't like Shu. I think that is what Shu is referring to here. It might have been other things in line with that.
Yeah.
I want to be clear.
Also, as progressive, we should want to reform people, not to kick, like, you know, end people. Like, we should be for helping, for making things better, right? Love, it's part of the love and solidarity mantra, right?
Here, seen in my entire life, very, very few instances of people on the left actually enabling pedophilia. I know that plenty of far-right websites, like 8chan, are literal dens of child pornography, or at least were. I know that a lot of far-right people in politics seem to have weird associations with pedophiles or with pedophile-adjacent politics.
And there are the whole really suspicious things such as child marriages and children beauty pageants. Really, really weird stuff. I have no interest in Lolly, but I do believe we should stick to our principles of following the research and experts that say fictional bad stuff doesn't correlate to real bad stuff. That is all. It just bothers me that he says the trans genocide is real, but he's willing to maintain a friendship with someone who supports right-wing figures. Well, we will see. He does levy very good criticism. You know? He does levy good criticism.
I know they seem to be rather keen on pedophilia in a lot of weird ways. I know that overwhelmingly the lolicon accounts on Twitter are far right. Every time I see this crop up in any systemic fashion, you know, it seems to be right adjacent.
Although I would say Vaush is still like a benefit, okay?
Also know that the right is currently embroiled in a campaign to prevent child sex education from being offered in any schools across the country, which would
Interesting.
dramatically increase children's vulnerability to. Additionally, conservatives are unquestioningly devoted to the what would you call the hegemonic power of the father and of the church,
Right.
aka the two biggest threats to children. The two biggest threats to children are by far the home and the church. The school runs third, still prominent. If you want to mitigate these factors, you need to promote Me Too kind of stuff, like believe the believe victims kind of stuff. Investigate, take it seriously. You want child sex education so that victims of abuse know what's happening to them, know that it's abuse, understand how to describe that abuse when they talk
But
to
the
authority
right wing
figures.
hates that.
Stuff like that. Gender imbalances also contribute significantly to predation because a lot of the ways in which young boys and girls are preyed upon align with gender stereotypes. The idea that boys always want sex, or that girls exist to provide sex, which are fairly common, like, I guess, like, root mythologies about gendered behavior. Like, they're like stereotypes, if you know what I mean. These are things that the right basically promote. And it's not a coincidence, by the way, that anytime you see a news story where it's like,
Although some of them are very new things, because I have been reading a book about the history of women, okay? And you might be surprised or not to hear that in the past, women have been forced to do a lot of really hard manual labor, to work in the field, and of course to do a lot of hard manual labor at home that was later moved to factories, such as making food, like manufacturing food, brewing alcohol, or sewing clothing for the whole family, and of course work in the field. Sometimes women were used instead of farm animals to plow the field, So this myth that women are too weak for manual labor did not stop women in the past from being used as manual laborers. Remember the debate where Sansel was saying we shouldn't teach kids about the actual names for things because it makes the right queasy about trans people? Yeah, I remember. Ridiculous. But Sansel also said that cutting of water is not genocide, so Sansel says many, many silly things, I think it was in a diary, yeah. Lucy's oldest.
banging 27-year-old teacher has sex with 12-year-old male student 18 times in 1 week or whatever, because the news media never calls that rape. That there are a bunch of guys in their mid-30s with receding hairlines and sunglasses in their cars for their Twitter avatars, going like, dude, where was she when I was young? Those people did not vote for Bernie. Now, am I saying that there's a direct connection between conservatism and pedophilia? Yes, I am saying that. So, Shu, cut this shit out.
The CIA or whatever the these people are up to nowadays. And it's like, no, not gonna happen. Sorry. What's so funny is a lot of these content creators do agree with me, but they won't say so in public. Like, they DM me and they're like, oh, you're so right. Instead of just doing it publicly because they fear their own audiences.
Who are
It's
those
really so sad.
people?
It's like an abusive relationship.
This does happen, and it has happened to me from other people, but she's wrong on this one, so I hope that she's wrong when she says this. I hope she's over-exaggerating.
But I just want to go back to the more important, less personal aspect of this whole thing, and that is the connection between pedo and LGBT. So of course there are
Okay, let's see where it goes.
It won't go well.
a lot of people on the right wing who are comparing the two. They have been doing this since the 1950s. The pedo smear has been thrown at gay people for decades. There's always been people on the right who will compare all the things I talk about, like the maps and stuff, to gay
I don't
people.
agree with
But it's
you
very
either.
clear from my content, if you've watched my content, which I really don't think a lot of these people who are mad at me have done, it's very clear from my content that I've always pushed back on this. But what is new to me is now liberals coming out and saying I can't talk about this stuff, and that talking about it is somehow inherently anti-gay, which when you think about it is really, really bad.
Okay, so she goes
True.
right back into the far right framing here. Okay.
True.
So we have 20 seconds of, hey, I've always pushed back on the idea that queer people are pedophiles, but also liberals can't even talk about pedophilia because of all the gay people. Okay.
Shu has never been a leftist. She's a right-wing reactionary trad wife who has an unhealthy obsession with making false equivalences between LGBTQ people and pedophiles. So first of all, let's be very clear here. I have been doing the opposite of this my entire career. This has been one of my focuses on this channel for years. And do you know what one of the core messages of a lot of those videos were? They are now trying to squeeze themselves into the LGBT community. And do not
Yes, there was a really interesting conversation with Chariot and Sunday about how gender roles may have emerged from sex, but that was so many thousand years ago, and culture has changed a lot. Also, there are many, many myths about gender roles from thousands of years ago, like the men hunting and women being at home is a myth. Women hunted as well. Keep that in mind. The women not hunting is a myth. Women hunted as well. Okay? So there are myths about gender roles going thousands of years back. This is making me think of why Sesame Street made Big Bird's elephant friend not an imaginary friend. True.
not be mistaken. The LGBT community ain't having that shit. You cannot sit with the LGBT community. You can't sit with us! And for the people who go, must slippery slope, you're fueling the delusions that they did actually successfully break their way into the community.
So I want to be clear here, and a lot of people in chat don't seem to get this, but when I opened this video by saying that Shu is legitimately progressive, I meant it, and this is not being... My opinion on this is not changing. She has always been consistent in this position. Again, but it's not about what you believe.
True.
Is it?
Action
about the
speaks
outcomes
louder
of your
than
behavior.
words. Exactly.
And everyone who criticizes her on other grounds, you're missing the point. You're still missing the point, guys. This is why I am where I am, and this is why all of you are 24/7 sucking my cock. And donating to me. Thank you. The whole point of this criticism is that it's not about her positions. It's about her reflexive inability to take responsibility for the outcomes of what she does, her constant palling around with the far right, and apparent unwillingness to hardcore go after them outside of, like, vague denunciations.
Although you did say at some point that that this video feels malicious. Among contemporary chimpanzees, females developed spears like tools in one instance, using it to hunt, gather better stuff like insects or whatever. Yeah. On women and hunting, this is not necessarily something we can use to project how it happened in human population, but actually, Karasu is like within the history of women, there were theorists that theorized that women were the ones to create tools. So it's like a discussion.
And the fact that she will always spend most of her energy targeting the people who are critiquing her the most, which means that, because the right knows that she's a phenomenal on board for them in a lot of instances,
True,
she will always be arguing with the left, criticizing the left,
but ignore the right,
framing the left's attacks against her as some kind of attempt to silence her free speech or some puritanical, tender queer, woke scold effort to crack down on her and fit her in a box or whatever. The insane expectation that she not contribute to a far-right moral panic. But these aren't about her positions. They're about her behavior.
actions.
This is one of the reasons why you guys need to be careful when you make these criticisms. It's not just about me and my irritation. It's that there are a lot of Shu fans out there whose positions here are reinforced by your inaccurate criticisms. when you might have noticed that about a third of this video by runtime is people making attacks on her positions rather than her behavior. There's a reason she chose those comments. It's because those are the ones that she not only thinks look the worst when framed in the video, those are the ones that are wrong.
I don't think we can accurately say either way, but there are evidences that support hunting among women and tools creation had been important. It's true. And it also shows that a lot of what was historically believed about gender roles is just not true.
And her audience knows they're wrong. And because of that, when her audience sees this behavior, they think that it is all just hysteria, that it's attacking her positions, which she has receipts to defend herself against. But I'm attacking her behavior, and I suggest you all do the same.
They're latching on a movement that
don't
is
mind
currently
that
finally
approach.
seeing acceptance, which makes them snakes.
There's literally nothing more dangerous about pedophilia than any other sexual attraction when you think about it.
You hear that, guys? There is no difference between an adult consensually
that's
having
a
sex
bit
with
of
another
a-
adult and an adult having
What
sex
about
with a
it?
child. Amazing! We learned
Clipped.
so much on this channel.
But right now, since gays and transgender people have already
Holy f***, is that Amos Yee?
Yeah.
Holy shit! Oh my god, what a blast from the past. This was Carl Benjamin's best friend.
gotten much of their rights all throughout the world, I think it's time for pedophiles to have their turn.
Shut up! Shut up! This right here is what triggers my timbers.
Isn't he in jail now? Yes.
Gay, consenting adults can do whatever they want with other gay, consenting adults. A pedophile's sexuality, children aren't a gender, so it's not a sexuality, but like I've said before, cannot go through with their sick fetish without harming anybody.
Speaking as a gayman, I believe we should include the P. To do otherwise is to betray the principles that give us our rights. For the last f***ing time.
You can't sit with us!
So this is some kind of a right, super
My main
far
point in a
righter.
lot of those videos was, you can't sit with us. Nearly a decade of content.
That is true. Though I will point out, Shu, as long as we're being particular about this, that... And hey, I've watched a lot of your videos. Not all of them. But a lot of them. And I do think you could put a lot more effort into putting forward more systemic solutions to child sexual abuse than just attacking whichever group of people online is trying to promote pedophilia that day. Because that's where you're going to find the big schism with the right. The right likes to talk about pedophiles
True.
the same way that murderers in prison do. You ever wonder why child abusers get put in separate wards in prison? Because they get beaten up or killed in the main ward. Do you know why? Because if you're in prison, a lot of these scum, and there are a lot of scum in prison, a lot of f***ed up people, okay? They're not all f***ing people who smoked one joint. There are a lot of f***ed up people in there who have murdered, who have f***ed, but they think, you know, at least there's one group of people I'm not as bad as. And that's child abusers. Oh, and don't get me wrong, a lot of the people in prison, not for child abuse, still did child abuse. But hey,
True.
at least there's one group they can feel greater than, you know, like one bar they haven't crossed down to. It promotes a sense of moral superiority. Now, you might notice that the promotion of that moral superiority doesn't do anything to protect children. It's purely a mechanism used by horrible people to think, oh, well, I can't be that bad. At least there's someone below me. The far right,
True.
they love this shit. They love talking about pedophilia because it serves as a nice, like, morally intuitive palette along which they can
And yet
paint
there are
any
really
moral panic they want. It's very easy. It's very...
And yet they are really suspicious about children all the same, with beauty pageants and child marriages.
intuitive. But does the right ever concern itself with any behavior that would actually lower the amount of child sexual abuse? No.
Exactly.
Quite the opposite.
Yeah.
In fact, often they take every possible step to systemically worsen it. These are the people who don't believe victims of sexual abuse. These are the people who don't mind police letting kits build up and never actually get tested. These are people who don't mind, like, the patriarchy at the home, the idea that the father reigns supreme, or you know,
True.
the supremacy of the church. Authoritarian ideologies are just naturally more inclined to pedophilia because pedophilia as a behavior is authoritarian, obviously, because it's an adult and a child. That is a very, very, very one-sided power imbalance. if you actually want to help children, you gotta layer this shit in. And you know, Shu, if you want to see who actually cares about pedophilia, talk about Me Too. Talk about child sex education alongside you talking about Twitter pedos. You know who's going to be mad at you for that? It's going to be the conservatives.
True.
They're all up with you on the virtue signal, but the moment you get down there and actually propose any policy solutions, you're going to start seeing people accuse you of being woke or of being with them. I'm not saying that you're refraining from doing this up to this point for the most part. I know she's mentioned some stuff from time to time systemically, but not like a full paradigm. I'm not saying you're refraining from doing so as evidence of like a malicious unwillingness to alienate your right-wing audience. This is more sociology-oriented, like, you know, systemic analysis stuff. And I understand that that doesn't, you know, that's not the same kind of content as like, look at these crazy pedos on Twitter. I get that it's different, but I'm just saying if this is a priority for you.
Also,
Of me going, this is
you did say that she feels malicious, okay? You did say that before. So... yeah.
really bad. The LGBT community isn't defending this, only for a chunk of the left to suddenly go, stop right there, Hitler.
Shu never seems to go
I'm often saying this.
after right-wing shit. I wonder why.
Okay, I only make maybe like, what, 5 videos a year? It shouldn't be that hard to go onto my page and scroll and just see this video, which is about exactly that. Like, it's right there. You don't even have to scroll. It's just...
They do, by the way. Female predators and their horny simps, I actually think is a good video, and I would encourage you guys to watch it. Of course, it's not as good as my videos. Nothing is. But it is entirely about the phenomena of, like...
I'm the best content creator.
Like, you know, 28-year-old female teacher student, horny guys in comments freak out. You know, like, yeah, no, that was a good video.
It's right there. Like, I made my prostasia video about a year ago. Remember my prostasia video where I exposed some child protection organization? What if I posted that video today? Would I be bombarded with these same people and called a Nazi and a reactionary and whatever? Because the only people that were doing that last year was the organization itself. The pedo organization was calling me alt-right for exposing them.
It's worth noting again that she is framing the left's behavior as taking issue with her accusing wealthy corporate people of being pedophiles. Shu, leftists love calling wealthy, glamour, bourgeois, designer brand affiliated,
Demon Mama explained that the Shu apparently has like a personal beef with one of the people in the organization, so conflict of interest. You know? Conflict of interest.
Leaders, pedophiles, they love that shit. That's not the issue here. You know that. All of the comments that you've shown in this video have been people accusing you of being right-wing or enabling the right-wing. Not for that, but for what happened after, which you are very weird to not address, you know, to not point out.
True.
I don't know anything about the prostasia shit. I don't know anything about...
Demon Mama did a really good
there.
job about explaining that.
Then why didn't they with Balenciaga? You mean Balenciaga, the organization with no tweets that deleted everything off Instagram? What were they supposed to do? What do you mean? Again, like I said, this is a bullshit whataboutism where, oh, I may have done a bad thing, but what about this other institution that did a bad thing? Shu was the person who kicked off the Twitter, you know, the far-right Twitter moral panic shit.
True.
She was the person in a position to address and denounce it in that Twitter thread. This video has been framed very dishonestly. Nothing about, oh, well, why didn't you protest by sending a letter to Balenciaga after Shu had already made it a far-right moral panic? This doesn't mean anything, okay? It's just a way of deflecting. Don't deflect.
That's you! That's you right now!
It's a pattern from Shu that she had for years. Even though she didn't say gay groomer out loud, it can be seen as a dog whistle. Shu may not have said anything about LGBTQ plus people out loud, but we can hear the dog whistle from miles away. Shu knows exactly what she's doing. 31-year-old knows exactly what she's doing. That's the thing.
I don't know. Doe, I know there's a whole thing here. I can't dip my toe in a pool. I gotta jump into a pool. I gotta know.
not mention gay and trans people. We know that she is thinking it, and so does her audience.
Dog was in
It's
the
called a dog
audience.
whistle. She hides behind technically not saying anything explicit. Stop falling for her dog whistling tactic. Just because she didn't say gay doesn't mean that it's not what she's implying. The sheer amount of people who still don't know that Shoe on Head is a dog whistle. Her name is a dog whistle. It always was.
Hello,
It's so funny to
Jacob.
me that you can literally breathe and these people will find a way to make it a dog whistle, but a child could be holding a teddy bear in bondage gear in a fashion ad, and they call you a crazy conspiracy theorist for pointing it out. And they love to do this gaslighting shit, right?
Here's another point that I think is interesting. You know, she's cobbled together a couple dozen screenshots of lefties saying stuff she finds
True.
disagreeable, some of which I find disagreeable, but some of which I think are on point. But I notice in terms of delusional behavior online in response to her tweets, we are not seeing a compilation of the literal thousands of high-profile far-right accounts that immediately made a link to this and the groomer, drag queen, queer thing.
True.
I mean, if we're talking about, you
That's
know,
because it was
anything
not against
outside
Shu.
of Shu's personal experiences, you know, like the world outside of her and her life and her head, and
True.
you know what's actually going on out here that affects people, you know, things that matter. We might know
The actually important stuff, that's right, she ignores.
that delusional behavior is a product of those tweets. It's on high, but it's not all coming from the left. In fact, I would say that a tiny fraction of it is, but that's not being shown here. You know, we're delusional, you know, because some people think Shoe on Head is a dog whistle, which it's not. It's a reference to an ancient 4chan meme, but that's not a dog whistle. But what about the people with power? What about the people who matter? What about the politicians?
Exactly.
What are they saying? Are politicians saying Shoe on Head is a dog whistle? Probably not. Are politicians saying this is just one more component of how they want to subvert and corrupt our children?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, Alex Jones brought it up with Kanye West, you know?
no.
I mean, this got blown out to the highest possible, just short of Biden coming out and addressing it. I don't know a higher level of social engagement.
Yeah, that's
They
really
try to make you
worrying.
feel crazy for thinking something like most normal people would think is weird.
Literal soup brain. Leather isn't innately related to BDSM. What's wrong with a child seeing BDSM gear? The child does not know it's sexual.
I
What
think
harm
so.
comes from this? Who gives a shit, dude? It's a kid holding a teddy bear. How traumatizing. People love to misunderstand fashion. It's so tiring. It's not pedophilia, it's fashion, Mom. Look it up. Is putting a leather harness on a dog BDSM too?
This child is not being mutilated. It is just holding a bear that happens to have a leather strap on it. Petco.com! Oh no, they're selling pedophile wear!
I'm sorry, you can't fool a degenerate. That is a BDSM harness.
Maybe Shoe on Head sees a piece of leather next to a child and starts getting a little, you know, riled up. Maybe it's a little bit of projection on Shoe.
It's very strange that DM's video is being intercut here. The rest of
True.
this had everything censored, like every tweet shown. Zan's tweet, everything. I don't know why the clip chimping is happening from here. That seems very strange.
Because
On Head's part.
Oh, you think this looks weird? Well, you must be a pedophile yourself. Wow.
Okay, just to be perfectly clear, okay? I think those Balenciaga photos were sussy. However, no, it's not pedophilic to have a kid pose in a photo and they're holding a bear that has a leather harness. You do no good to children at all. You do literally nothing to help anyone
True.
with this, like, ridiculous fear-based, like, moral panic version of looking for... It is sussy, but there is a...
True! See? Vaush came around. Vaush came around. Like, Demon Mama says it how it is, you know? Demon Mama was clipped before she dared to say it how it is. That is often the grounds on which Demon Mama gets attacked. For saying how it is, you know?
There's a line between, like, sussy and pedophilia. Go back and watch a Cartoon Network show from the 90s, and you're going to find some episodes that are a little sussy. That's not the same as them being promotions of pedophilia. That's the point of sussy. The term sussy, it means suspicious. Like, and it's kind of weird. I wonder, that's not the same. Keep that in mind. If we run down this road where it's like anything that's sussy, like it's like the Overton window. Anything that's sussy instantly becomes the furthest promotion of the ideology that you think it's sussy with. Then Shu, you would be a Nazi. You've spent this whole video arguing that contributing to a far-right moral panic doesn't make you far-right. So trust me, this whole video is you saying, listen, it's sussy doesn't mean I'm far right. So you can't then go like, okay, well, because Demon Mama is pointing out that it's sussy but not pedophilia, that means that Demon Mama is implicitly enabling pedophilia. Which she's absolutely not. At least not in those clips. Maybe the rest of the video from which this was cut was her seek heiling and promoting pedophilia, but I don't, yeah, that would be in the other clips.
Got him. This shit went viral on like normie Twitter and Facebook and TikTok. There were like Zoomer girls on TikTok like, oh my god, this shit crazy, for real, this shit not bussin'. And you're over here pretending it's perfectly fine and not weird and only Nazis and pedophiles would have a problem with this. Okay.
See, the nuance in this is being destroyed. Is it okay? So, notice how the aforementioned TikTok girl was saying that it was sussy.
Right.
I don't know whether Demon Mama said sussy. I think Demon Mama is just pointing out that, like, it's not like a giant branded stamp saying this is the pedophilia. Again, I really want it to be noted here that no child's life has ever been improved. No child has ever been protected from sexual abuse with hyper fastidious scrutinization of this stuff and like leading moral panics against it.
True.
I think generally the best way to handle stuff like Balenciaga is to literally, I think the most moral thing that you can do with the Balenciaga situation is for the entire world to do this. At Balenciaga. No far-right moral panic. No, like, insane, this means that the QAnon is real, actually. This is what I want. I think this is literally, like, the morally correct way to handle it. Just because that's what sussy means. Yeah, you go, hey, Balenciaga. And if you want to, like, force them to make a corporate apology or whatever, f it, do it. I love corporate apologies, you know? However, a far-right moral panic happened. It's still happening. And ignoring that and pretending that this is just some, like, lefties defending Balenciaga shit is highly irresponsible.
Just reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. Balenciaga better be paying you people good. Because if
the papers of the See, that's the shit that I mean, Shu. The papers of the CP case were more than sussy. This is a bit dishonest regard. No. I'm talking about the kids with the teddy bears. The CP or the CP court document on the desk was mega sussy or super sus, in my opinion. I think that goes from sus to super sus. That's where it goes, I think. So, you know.
Disagree.
Yes, a sus squared, if you will. It's very strange. Okay, that's fair. Thanks for clarifying. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, sus squared. Yeah.
if they're not, that's even more pathetic. They should at least throw you like one of those $3,000 high-heeled Crocs or whatever the f. Like the brand itself even admitted it was weird, yet you're over here running defense for them for free. Even more annoying than the guest.
I really think that Demon Mama is just more concerned with the way people are taking it to like an insane, like what Demon Mama is trying to do there is not defend Balenciaga. Demon Mama doesn't care about Balenciaga. What Demon Mama cares about is us reaching like a satanic panic level of paranoia in this country from the far right, where anytime they don't like any institution or group of people, they can immediately find something pedophilic adjacent about them by way of making literally everything pedophilic. Like the way the far right will take a look at a drag show and go like, look at this, there are children in the audience. And you look at the video and it's a person wearing twice as much clothing as I or Shu am right now, just like doing a little dance then leaving. Like literally 50 times more clothed than what you can see at the beach. And the problem is, if you cede that ground to them, if you cede that ground of hyper paranoia, you're still enabling the far right moral panic. And again, none of this has anything to do with protecting children because it's not.
Exactly.
The far right is using this as a way of continuing their attack on queer people.
As they always do.
For a lot of people, this is just like a speculative, like an interesting, wacky thing that's happening. You know, there's obviously a lot of like normie intrigue and how goofy this all is. But it's not about protecting children. And I don't think there's anything wrong with Demon Mama pointing out that we're like reaching pretty ludicrous levels of paranoia, you know?
True.
Like I'm trying to think of like, okay, I'm just going to share this little story because I've read up on it recently because of what I've been playing video game wise.
Also, leather accessories, including chokers, are subcultural fashion and not necessarily all sexual. Goths, for example. True. I don't want to live in a place where there will be a moral panic against goths. Again. True. True, carazo.
Doom, okay? Now, the original Doom came out, I think, in 1993. The original Doom was like basically the first modern first-person shooter. It was...
Well, that's if you don't count Wolfenstein 3D, right? Wolfenstein 3D was the first one, even if it was more janky and less smooth to play.
revolutionary for its time, and in my opinion, still a very good game. Now, keep in mind that throughout the 1980s...
I think the Wolfenstein 3D was more of like the first one. I had been growing up in the 90s as teenager, though not in the US, not caught the worst of satanic role-playing moral panic. In Poland, the 90s was like the period of recovery from the quote-unquote communist system. You know?
We were experiencing a level of satanic panic where there was legitimately, this is not a joke, this was not like a made-up thing in media, people aren't exaggerating when they say this, suburban white moms who felt that if you played hair metal rock and roll backwards on like cassette or records, that you would get messages from Satan, or that like
True.
heavy metal bands would encode
Dungeons and
satanic
Dragons.
messaging into the song if played backwards. This led to discourse in Congress. No, that's not a joke. The satanic panic was psychotic. And you're right. Iron Maiden released a song called Number of the Beast. Now imagine a shoe-on head back then, okay? You can't deny it's sussy, right? Like, you know
Right.
those satanic types are all into pedophilia, then Iron Maiden releases a song called Number of the Beast? Like Balenciaga. They're doing a wink, wink, nudge, nudge at the audience. Now, I think there is a critical difference here. The critical difference being that even if you were unironically worshipping Satan, I think that's fine, I guess, if you want. Whereas if Balenciaga is unironically promoting pedophilia, that is absolutely not okay. But in terms of the paranoia, it motivates the same kind of behavior.
True.
See, when Doom came out, this was around the time that people in Congress were talking
People
about
were
passing
crazy
laws to
about
ban
Doom.
violence
I
in video
remember
games,
that.
right? What was his name? Jack
I
Thompson?
actually remember.
They were talking about how, like,
Actually, in Poland, people also cried about Doom a lot. I remember that.
Mortal Kombat was too violent because,
True.
what was his name? Sub-Zero had a finisher where you'd rip your head out and the spine would dangle. And Doom comes out, and Doom is a game which you'd think Christian conservatives would like it because it's literally about killing demons in hell, you know? But for some reason, they didn't. They thought this was deeply satanic. Now, there is a very strong cultural association in the American Christian far right between Satanism, pedophilia, homosexuality, and transgenderism. A promotion of any of these things is
Oh,
seen...
Doom was criticized in Poland. Also, I actually played more Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay than Dungeons and Dragons. The tabletop RPG version of Warhammer.
as an adjacent position to the rest of them. This is a really, really common pattern when it comes to...
Because Warhammer has the Army Collection painting figures version, but it also has tabletop RPG version.
how these moral panics develop. That's why when Balenciaga is accused with like pedophilia shit, immediately the far right jumps in to tie it to Satanism and queer people, gay and trans people. That association is politically advantageous to them because it's really easy to motivate these zealous far right religious groups if you're connecting things they don't like already to Satan. And a lot of them already think that being trans means that you've been infested by a demon. There are a lot of religious fundamentalists out there. Look, The point that I'm getting at here is that what Demon Mama was doing there, what it's important that we all do, is not bite the bullet. Don't give in. Do not let the far right elevate you to a level of paranoia where you are always willing to take the worst interpretation, the least charitable interpretation of everything that happens. Don't let like every bit of media you come across instantly signal in your mind a threat of some kind of grand conspiracy. Because look, the real shit that f***s over the world isn't a conspiracy. The accumulation of capital in the hands of a smaller and smaller group of people, that's not a conspiracy. That's not a bug. That's a feature, okay? Political systems corruption, lobbying, this isn't... You don't have to be an expert to figure this out, you know? Do conspiracies happen? Yes. Should we pursue, like, understanding them to the best of our abilities? Yes. But not off of, like, oh, sure, the far right's doing a moral panic, but, like, you know, somebody's got to hold Balenciaga to account. Nothing.
A 16-year-old English juggalo who saw orbs while listening to the ringmaster's word on repeat at midnight, baby. There's a reason why you put it on a teddy bear. You are playing on the concept of what's for children, what is strictly for adults, grow an actual child, and it's sissy. I see.
Nothing is going to happen here, okay?
Hello, Ivy
And
Evans.
so many more people's lives could be saved with more responsible behavior. And frankly, a lot of people are going to get hurt if you're in a mind state where you see Doom, where you see a Iron Maiden album, and your first thought is like, oh, well, you know, maybe it's not that, but like, whew, that's pretty bad, isn't it? Huh? Well, And then somebody else is like, dude, I think Number of the Beast is just a song. I think they were just being edgy. And you're like, wow, you're defending Iron Maiden? Whoa, cool, wait, great. So you're fine with Satanism? It's just a very reflexive and reactionary, like, tendency. Again, I want to indicate that I'm not comparing the accusations of satanic worship to accusations of pedophilia in terms of the severity of those behaviors if they actually did take place, only in the mentality that people have. Because keep in mind, to a religious conservative, worshiping Satan and raping children actually is about on the same level. And they sure act like it.
Come
And
on.
yes, the far right did, in fact, make an effort to call Balenciaga satanic. They did so with, like, a Taylor Swift blood-coated image done for a promotional bit. They did it, I remember seeing, a woman did it with whether or not Balenciaga means Baal is king.
Vaush is doing good commentary,
I think this was Jordan Peterson's daughter who said this. Luxury brand Balenciaga has been the focus of outraging conspiracy theories. Controversy says Balenciaga says... Some connect the dots to Balenciaga to Baal, an ancient Canaanite god of fertility. Widely viewed Instagram post made an attempt to be the Republican candidate to represent Tennessee's 5th congressional district. Claimed the following: do Google Translate from Latin to English. I did it myself. The depths of evil surrounding the Balenciaga story just get deeper and darker at every turn.
Gosh.
Starbuck, that's his real name, wrote on Instagram.
Starbucks.
Be careful. You change nothing with this Balenciaga shit. The only actual outcome you can have in the world is enabling an ideology that does lead to the harm of more children.
True.
Slating has to be the whataboutism. I see whataboutism all the time when I make content. When I talk about police brutality, what about violence against police officers? When I talk about men being cringe, what about women being cringe? When I talk about women being cringe, what about men being cringe? You can always tell when someone doesn't really have a point or they are low-key defending the thing you're talking about when they do this what about shit. And every time you want to talk about weirdo shit involving children, there's like 12 motherfuckers that crawl out of a rock like,
notice how they never talk about child beauty contests. All this political theater from you, yet not one mention of banning child beauty pageants. All this outrage, but nothing about child beauty pageants.
oh yeah, you're talking about this bad thing? What about this other bad thing?
In this case, I don't actually think this is whataboutism. Shu has been pretty vocal about being like an anti-pedophile YouTuber. Great thing to be, by the way. Nice job with that. But the ways in which you conduct your behavior in that line do matter, especially if it's something you have like a recurring engagement with. And again, Shu has called out, at the very least, if not the child beauty pageants, behavior adjacent to it. I think the underlying question from these people are, why the is it that you keep finding ways to pursue your anti-pedophilia, like, conspiracism that embolden the far right? Or maybe
True.
not keep finding, but in this instance certainly are. It's
I
more
mean, I think it's fair to say she keeps finding. I have more issue by how they might treated these kids in the advert, honestly. I heard horror stories how exploitative they are. Yes, but what BDSM have in the fashion sometimes intersects with other stuff. See example of 80s toy lines. True. True.
how have you have to carve a jigsaw puzzle piece to fit it in like this. Like, how do you attack a multi-billion-dollar corporation with a conspiracy that ultra-wealthy people are pedophiles in a way that somehow manages to fully fit within a far-right conspiracy that is ongoing and currently one of the main focuses of the entire political... This isn't niche, you know? Like,
Yeah.
It's literally the entire foundation of current political discourse is trans, drag queen, groomer, discourse, pedophile, whatever, degeneracy. The whole thing, the day after the shooting at the club, done by a guy motivated by the ideology of the people who would then go on to like and retweet your post. How can you not know?
Exactly. Makes you wonder.
This wasn't exactly out of left field.
Makes you wonder.
Again, I don't
Does
think
she know?
posting it initially was inherently bad, but like this, the Twitter thing on its own,
Really makes you wonder.
I might have watched this video and taken an entirely different side of things. I didn't know if this video was going to be more like apologetic, or I don't even care about apologies. I don't want apologies. What I want is like, hey, followers of mine, hey, okay, so some lefties were mad at me. Do you want to see how like 80 billion Nazis want you dead because you're bisexual?
True.
Hey, does everyone want to see how, like, my totally innocent post about, like, wealthy pedophiles ended up getting turned into a far-right moral
But she won't
panic? You
do
wanna
that.
see?
There's no
But that's not what this
chance.
video is about. That's what the world is about. That's what's happening in the world. But this video is about Shu's specific grievances, which for some reason happen to be with powerless people online who are upset with her for enabling Nazis and not with the Nazis herself. Or themselves. I don't think Shu's a Nazi.
Beauty pageants.
Oh yeah? You're talking about this bad thing? What about this other bad thing? What is this, the all lives matter of f***ing pedophilia? Multiple things can be bad at once. But it's not 2005. We're not middle-aged mothers from the South. Nobody is out here defending child beauty pageants.
This is so weird because Shu has talked
True, but there's also nobody out there attacking them, at least not from the right. That's the point that person was making.
Exactly.
There aren't people
Including
out there
Sean
actively
Head.
defending. I mean, I'm sure there are some, but that's not like an active media thing. It's more that the right, for some reason, is only interested in accusing like events or institutions of being pedophilic if they're queer, like entirely. Like that is literally the only time it comes up. The only time they accuse teachers of being groomers is when they have blue hair. Literally, like, guys, there are tens, hundreds of thousands of teachers in America and a lot of students. A lot of students, children, are preyed on by teachers. Does the
That's
right
true.
have a moral panic every time a
Nope.
straight adult teacher has a relationship with a student? No.
Nope.
They don't
Nope.
pay any mind to that. They don't care. This doesn't
know,
get
of
brought up in the
course.
media circuit. They get angry when libs of TikTok posts a video of a 30-year-old blue-haired kindergarten teacher who says that she thinks children should be able to express themselves in class. Literally.
Yep.
That's the issue here. It's not about what they defend. It's what they're curious.
If a woman, straight cis woman teacher exploits that student, right-wingers will say, oh, I'm jealous. I wish I could have been the student as a kid. This is what happens.
Quiet about and what they attack.
about kink and BDSM in her videos before. She's a hypocrite.
I could be wearing a full BDSM harness right now. I could be wearing a full GIMP suit, but it would not matter because my content is not made for children. I am an adult.
Well, kids watch your content. Kids watch both of our... Literally, like, thousands and thousands of people under 18 watch both of our videos. We're on YouTube. That's
True.
an unavoidable component of being on YouTube, I think.
Also,
Who makes
Demon.
content for adults. You either
Also, Demon Mama has made a perfect job at pointing out that Sean has went on to meetings with fans. She has made a video saying, I know how my fans look like, they are 14. So there we go.
have a room temperature IQ or you're coping.
Shu is Catholic, but never calls out the pedophilia of the Catholic Church. Has June ever talked about pedophilia in the church? I can't find her mentioning it.
And again, these people don't watch my content. Hell, I even had a joke about it in my prostasia video.
It's literally tax exempted. It is a tax exempted pedophile club. So it's a church.
Also, hold on. Remember Cuties? Remember when Cuties came out? Cuties,
I remember. That was discourse.
which, much like the Balenciaga thing, had nothing to do with LGBT people. And like a dozen articles came out from liberal journalists about how like everyone criticizing it is alt-right. Cuties.
No, I don't remember that. I
don't remember that
everyone condemning cuties except for like a couple of people.
True. I remember that.
Was there a huge wave of left-leaning people who
I
came out
don't
to defend
remember
it?
that, honestly.
You might have seen some film critics defending it, but most film critics are going to be liberals because media critique and media production and journalism and art critique in general are predominantly occupied by liberals because conservatives are incapable of art critique.
True.
I don't think there was like any broad political defense of cuties from the left, or even a minor one.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Press X to
Sneeko
doubt.
and Mr. Girl. Yeah, there you go. The vanguards of the left.
Yeah.
The extraordinary Netflix debut that became the target of a right-wing campaign. The controversy surrounding it seems to be propaganda fueled by non-types and anti-Semite.
366 retweets and quote tweets and comments. 81 likes.
Audiences hate it because there's a moral panic right-wing campaign.
Literally 0 likes on this one. Very interesting how Shu remembers this as liberal journalists. Did Sneeko really defend? Did Sneeko really defend cuties? Because Sneeko, before he got banned, had like more than 500,000 YouTube subs, which would probably make him more prominent than anyone else who liked or defended it. Is Sneeko going to come up? Are we going to get a video clip of a conservative supporting cuties? Or is it going to be 0 like random tweets that could be from anyone?
True.
Targeting it. Wrong. Leftists like Shu Head and Vaush are critical of the film.
That's me!
That's you.
That's me!
Shu Head is a notorious alt-right asshole. Also, you just tagged 2 aggressive, horrible accounts. Please delete that tweet. You're putting people on the thread at risk.
And it was
Okay, that's pretty funny. I appreciate that.
Cuties not basically beauty pageant shit. It had nothing to do with gay people. And once again, we were calling it out. And where were you?
Interesting enough, Ness is best. After World War I, there was a politician in Poland that had an idea of almost recreating the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth by creating a federalized country between Poland, Lithuania, and Belarus, and having Ukraine as a strong ally to weaken the influence of Russia. That was the plan after World War I. But it did not work out very well in the end. But it was the plan, you know, to create a strong federalized country from the countries that made up the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth to counteract Russia's influence in the region. If that makes sense.
calling us f***ing Nazis. It doesn't
No! Shu! Shut the f*** up, bitch!
What
Stop with this. Stop with this narrativizing. What is this insistence on framing it like the left is constantly trying to keep you from... Stop! Stop doing that! Why? Why? Why do this?
Washing.
You know this is a disingenuous... If Sneeko really... Here's the Sneeko video on cuties.
Wanted to get
I have a
canceled.
confession.
This is the video.
Cuties is my new favorite film from Sneeko re-uploads after his channel got taken down. There we go. This guy... Okay, hey, if you want some good material for who is defending cuties, you've got a tweet with 0 likes, and here is a convenient re-upload from a YouTube account of a Nazi. He's friends with Nick Fuentes, who got banned from YouTube.
Sneeko.
And he liked it.
True.
Stop framing this like the liberal. This is what you're doing, Shu. You're doing the far right moral panic.
True.
Say, oh, you know, I don't think gay people and pedophiles are aligned. But then you say, yeah, but the liberals keep getting really angry at me whenever I call out pedophilia. It's very strange. And you're then doing the thing. On all the right-leaning people are just like, they take away from that. They're just like, oh, Shu's so nice to those degenerates. Well, even she sees it, right? You are doing the exact same thing. It is indistinguishable from somebody doing the like, oh yeah, you know, I don't think that black people are inherently inferior, but, you know, like, isn't it crazy how the liberal media freaks out whenever you bring up race and IQ differences? You're doing the same thing.
That is true.
You're doing the thing. You might not be doing it deliberately, disingenuously, but the outcome is identical. Yeah, Sneeko had like 1 million subs too. Wasn't just Sneeko, Matt Binder.
True, Karas, we should. There are so many.
Oh yeah, Matt
things
Binder
to
did defend this
cover.
as well. Yeah, throw Matt Binder in there as well. Binder? No, Binder. That was right. Sneeko and Binder, allies. I just want to see them next to each other.
Sneeko and
Holy
Binder?
shit, these accounts are from, or these tweets are from 2020? Oh my god, it was all so long ago. Didn't Matt Walsh defend cuties too? We can probably assume that Matt Walsh has jerked off to cuties. Probably not a good idea to call her a bitch while the community has a sexism problem. Don't you woke scold me, Thana.
Oh my gosh.
But sure, fine. The community does get really weird about her. No, chat, Samson, you can ban the other people doing it.
Matter. It doesn't matter if it's gay or straight. It doesn't matter if it's a giant corporation or a Netflix movie. They will find a way to call me alt-right for talking about this shit. The absolute urgency and ease at which these people jump on the most optically disastrous swords is both horrifying and incredible to me. The term MAP went from something on Tumblr that I talked about 7 years ago to now real hired academics using the term.
Stigma against MAP.
Okay, let me try to put this forward. There's a really good Big Joel video on this on Shu. Okay, let me how do I put this in a way that like is really clear and even people who are maliciously trying to misinterpret me don't get it, okay?
Okay.
Cuties. Cuties, I haven't seen it, okay? I've heard other people describe it. As I understand it, Cuties has some very like explicit depictions of like young girls dancing in like a creepy way framing wise. Like not just the movie says, oh yeah, in the other room there are some little girls dancing real weird like, you know, but more like they show it for like a long time. Made me sick when I saw the clips. See, Last Wish 16, chat pedophile, saw the clips, they agree, we're over it. So here's the thing, okay? Who made Cuties? Was it a secret Epstein 2? Was it Epstein 2.0? No, actually. It was a it seems like it was a lady who was trying to use the
So keep in mind that Cuties is like a remake, I think, of I'm not sure if the original was from France. I want to say France. And apparently the original movie was better with the depictions, etc., you know. Apparently the remake made it really worse. Can someone confirm or deny in the chat if that's the case? Can somebody... It shows how odd the language and perspective are here too. People in polite disagreement both agreed with Courtney and seem to think they backed their perceptive up. No point, it's just funny. Right, Carasso.
explicit depiction of
I
that
heard the French
content
origin was
as
better.
a way of artistically framing how bad and destructive it can be, like the exploitation shit. Yeah, French people are built different, and by different I mean worse. French African woman. Yeah, okay, whatever. The point is apparently that there was like some kind of artistic message there. So here's the thing. I don't actually think that Cuties, at least on that level, I don't think I have any reason to believe that Cuties was made with the explicit intent of promoting pedophilia. That's often not how the world works. Like, there's a lot of stuff in media that's pretty sexist, but I don't think the people who make it are explicitly trying to promote sexism, right? Like, there's a lot of stuff in media that's kind of racist. Like, go back and watch, I don't know, Rush Hour 2 or whatever, you know. Is there some racist shit in there? Go and watch some Bond films, especially the earlier ones, you know.
A lot of it is like culturally ingrained and normalized things. The things that we have to analyze, discover, and push back against. This is why we have the saying, love the individual, hate the system, right? Because we want to see under the hood and sort of analyze the underlying normative things that are being depicted in such things, and we want to push against those, right? This is what we want to do, right? Does that make sense, what I'm saying right now? Or does it, or am I just babbling like a duck?
You know, I don't think the explicit purpose of the filmmakers was to promote racism, you know? I just think it was a swing and a miss. I think it was a big L. I think it was big sussy. I think it was mega...
Am I making sense?
You know, The Rock, boom, Vine noise, you know, raised eyebrow. And I think that sometimes that the discourse around that can be really revealing about the people who are actually bad. You know what I mean? Like Mr. Girl, you know? Like people like that. So the content itself, you can hate it, you can dislike it. I think that's fine. From what I've heard, the content of Cuties is disgusting. There was an effort made, but that doesn't mean it worked, you know? That doesn't mean it played out. But I usually think stuff like this is most interesting in the reactions that it prompts from people, right? So, for instance, some people on social media are like, yeah, I love Cuties because I like it. That's gonna get clipped. They say they like Cuties because they like looking at the girls dancing or whatever. That's a big mega sussy Vine boom, The Rock eyebrow raise, big boom Vine sussy, right? You can get him for that, you know. Play the clip, the SWAT team busted in, you know. What's the song they play? What's the song they play when they...
Cuties' problem is that it used children actors, and that's in a sense while criticizing child exploitation, the movie itself did do that to an extent. Yes, that's true. It's true.
They do that? You know the clip when the SWAT team busts in? What? I thought I had it all together. Yeah, that one in. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, this, you know that one. Right. Okay, do that. Great. And there are people who are going to defend Cuties on its artistic merits. I don't think that makes them inherently pedophilic. Maybe they
I think that also makes a really good point.
have a point in the sense they can say like, okay, well, I agree that's bad, but there's some other stuff. Maybe they have a different perspective. The point that I'm trying to get at here is like, it comes down to the moral panic thing, where oftentimes you're actually enabling the worst people when you jump in on the easiest moral explanation for any feeling that you have. It's kind of like how a lot of people criticize me for jumping to call everyone a Nazi. Now, when I do that, I'm right to, and the people who criticize me are wrong. But if we imagined for a moment that they weren't wrong, that they actually had a point, which they don't, you could make a fair argument that if I called literally everyone who disagreed with me, everyone, a Nazi no matter what, and I just laid that out there with no like explanation or contextualization, I might actually be making it a lot harder to find out who is actually a Nazi, right? Because I'm kind of cheapening the term a little bit to the point where I'm not giving it any like meaning. I'm sort of like removing from it any actual descriptive power. You know what I mean? Much in the same way, Of
course, I can already see a Steven reaction to this video when Steven starts laughing and says, "Oh, that's what you do, Vaush."
About the way discourse like this gets handled. Or to put it another way, Matt Binder defended Cuties. Do I think Matt Binder is a pedophile? Like, I don't know, Mr. Girl? No. Because I'm willing to be more charitable than that. And I don't think it helps anyone to pretend that that's like the reasonable thing to jump to. And Shu's insistence on not just jumping to that, but more like Shu's framing of people being nuanced as meaning they're the farthest like into the wrong that they can be is a fundamentally Oh god, I've been talking for too long. Fundamentally reactionary tendency.
True.
And do you know why I know that? Because Shu has spent the entire video critiquing other people for doing this. Dozens and dozens of messages where her central criticism is they're misframing what she says and what she believes by taking some behavior that she's engaged in, assigning meaning to it, and going way off the road with it.
I mean, Karase would not be surprised if Steven did not suddenly become a shoe defender when reacting to this Vaush video.
If she wants to call the people of Balenciaga pedos, I legit don't care. F***ing go for it. I did the same. If she wants to imply that Demon Mama is defending pedophiles, I think that's pretty fucked up. I think that's fucked up, and I think it's morally wrong. You've already got a video here that does literally nothing to address or rebuke the far-right framing. You have one person here who's shown in their entirety, and it's Demon Mama, a trans woman. And then you accuse them of holding water for Balenciaga and, like, essentially promoting or defending pedophilia. Alright. Let's finish the video. Demon Mama doesn't deserve this shit. No, Demon Mama doesn't deserve this shit.
True.
Look, I guess the only thing I'll say, if Shu like wants to fundamentally reject the concept of consequences, like fully, it's just my behavior and my intention with nothing else, then she has no business talking about politics in any context.
True.
And what's more, if she's willing to jump to like, oh yeah, Zan's criticizing me, though his name at least was censored, as a bad faith attack. He was my friend, but now he's defending Balenciaga, defending pedos. Demon Mama's defending pedos, you know. If you're gonna do that, then you really can't complain about people calling you a Nazi.
Exactly. Like everybody who... What Shu's saying that everybody who criticizes her is like a pedo defender.
Because you're engaging in like more frivolous bad faith accusation throwing than they ever could with their far more incisive and thoughtful criticisms of your behavior than you can muster of them.
True.
Years ago to now real hired academics using the term.
Stigma against maps is a problem in part because it makes maps think that they're monsters. That's really problematic in terms of map well-being. It's really hard to cope when you think you're a terrible person because you have attractions that you can't change.
And I'm a licensed professional counselor and sex therapist in Erie, Pennsylvania. And today I want to talk about minor attracted persons. Most folks are making incorrect assumptions about them without actually knowing much about them. And those assumptions create harm for an already marginalized population.
Notice the familiar language they're using. They are co-opting progressive language.
Of course I don't agree with that this is co-opting. This is just describing an issue pretty correctly in my opinion. Like those are not some random people. These are actual... well, one of them was a therapist, you know. Those are not just some random comments from random people. These are experts of mental health. When you're doing it for adults, you are messing with the cultural perception to elicit a reaction. You don't involve children because they don't have these lines established. The kid doesn't know, and you don't know what the parents and teaching that child. It's the parent's job.
And I want the community, I want people in general to get ahead of this. But no, apparently MAP is just a right-wing psyop, and I'm just a reactionary, and blah blah.
Wait, the map thing is a right-wing psyop. You even said that in one of your earlier videos. It literally is. There have literally been like 4chan posts that were highly popularized where they talked about co-opting progressive language as a way of using map as like a pseudo-progressive synonym. You've said that. You've said in your videos. Hasn't she? Wait, hasn't she literally said... hasn't she said this? That it's a 4chan psyop? I mean, there might be some people who aren't from 4chan who bite in on the language. And I agree that they have the potential to do a lot of harm, but I don't know if what the message here even contradicts what Shu has said.
Blah, blah, blah. I feel like the crazy scientist in the beginning of a disaster movie that nobody believes, and then it's like too late. And what's upsetting to me...
Shu. Shu, you are not helping children with this. Focus on systemic critique as a way of supplementing your conspiracy callouts, which I don't think are inherently bad. Also, please do not pretend that you're getting ahead of the map thing as a way of protecting the queer community, of getting ahead of things, when you are participating in and now playing cover for with this video
The far right.
far-right moral panic.
Exactly.
This is not about protecting kids, and it's not about protecting queer people. It's about being the cool conspiracy anti like psyop girl. There's nothing wrong with being that chick, but
I think Demon Mama said it best. It's about money. Okay?
that is what, like, it's that is the primary motivation for your behavior. That's not wrong. I'm not criticizing that. But like, you can't pretend this is about protecting queer people.
True.
As a socialist, what's upsetting to me is the progressive movement, or whatever this is, I don't even know what this is, in the near future is going to wind up at the least ignoring and at the most defending some real disgusting shit in the near future in fear of giving the right ammo.
See, this is the moral panic. Like, in name, this is it. This is the content of the moral panic.
True.
This is like the, as a leftist, I just think, I just think we have a real problem with not acknowledging the fact that actually all these drag shows are pedophilia. You are doing it,
contributing,
but you're doing it from like the Dave Rubin thing, where it's like, yes, as an envoy of the liberal left, I'm here to say we do have some real problems. In a way, it's almost more damaging than if you were explicitly and fully ideologically far right. Because if you were, they would be seen as criticisms from the outside. But now they can point at you and say,
see?
Look, see? Even a lefty like Shu sees that they're enabling pedophilia.
Exactly.
And your evidence for that accusation is people getting mad at you for enabling the moral panic to begin with and accusing them of defending Balenciaga because they had a fucking teddy bear in a harness suit in a controversy that is not going to lead to the protection of a single child.
True.
There are right-wing people who are constantly calling everything and anything to do with pedophilia, like gay shit, LGBT shit. Yes, I get it. I have a bi flag in the background of some of my videos, and I get comments like, nice groomer flag. Like, I get it. But how long should we not say anything in fear of giving them ammo? Because this was probably the most clear-cut example of something weird and gross, completely unrelated to gay people, and these people still did damage control for it. If anything,
they did damage control for the far right people who immediately made it about gay people. You didn't put the Balenciaga tweet out and then immediately a bunch of lefties responded to your tweet. They responded to the far right jumping on it. The one that you are very, very, very deliberately not acknowledging or describing the extent of.
Would ever give the right ammo, it's the way you acted so quickly to defend this shit. And yes, by implying I can't talk about it, or I'm committing scholastic terrorism, or whatever the the new buzzword is, that is defending this. This shit that anyone with eyes can see is creepy. I have been talking about this stuff all of my career, and I have a great track record. I was talking about maps years ago, and now there's hired academics using the term. I warned about Amos Yee, who said I was too mean to pedophiles, and he was arrested for having CP. I exposed Prostasia, then they shut down their forum, so young maps could no longer enter it. I helped get the word out about this Balenciaga thing, and even the brand itself had to admit it was creepy and is now doing an investigation into it. I don't care if you yourself don't want to talk about this stuff. I don't care. You do you.
And of course, there's the fact that the organization she attacked before, she has a personal beef with one of the people, so it's like a conflict of interest 101.
I will do me. But all I ask is that you stay out of my way when I am doing me. And just know that I am not sorry, I did nothing wrong, and I will do it again. Goodbye. Hello, everyone.
This is a disgusting video.
True.
Nah, it's genuinely disgusting. I can only regard it with malice. This entire video is framed as a from the left enabling of the moral panic that she was accused of enabling to begin with. Okay, let me sum this all up. At the end of the day, if you are a
oh my gosh, by some miracle, by some accident, what I did ended up like this, but I will do it again. There we go. That sums it up, doesn't it?
Public figure, you are responsible for the outcomes of your behavior. Everyone acknowledges this. Anyone who disagrees is psychotic. I'm going to stop, playing nice with this, okay? Shu, if you believe that you should only be held accountable for the intentions of your behavior, you're a child. And frankly, you shouldn't even be online.
True.
In real life, with real people, when we talk, act, behave in any way, we are accountable not just for our intentions, but for what we do. If we intend something, but do something else, this might not always mean we're in the wrong, but we do need to acknowledge it. This video fails to even acknowledge the central premise, the fundamental thing that people are criticizing you for, the fact that this country is currently wrestling with the potential of an undemocratic future that I know you are aware of the potential of because I am friends with you and I have spoken to you. You are aware of the fact that we are currently experiencing the most vitriolic wave of anti-queer legislation and sentimentality yet seen in our lifetimes. And for some reason, in spite of all of this, you cannot even muster an acknowledgement of what people are actually mad at you for. The pretense that they are angry with you for going after Balenciaga is dishonesty on your part. It is a lie, and you know it is a lie, and you are lying deliberately, even if you pretend not.
I agree.
You know why they're mad. It is not because of what you said. It is because of what it led to and your subsequent behavior. One of the reasons
100% agreed.
I've been so hesitant to criticize you for this is because I had difficulty really getting angry with you for the initial tweets. You do a lot of objectionable shit. I don't know why Shu is so insistent on palling around with far-right people. I mean, I don't like to criticize people for their personal choices, but at the very least, she definitely has a habit of fraternizing with them. Taking photos with Blake Masters. There are a lot of people on the far right who she seems to find as, funny little playthings, good people to have around, wacky, interesting. Well, they feel the same way about you, Shu. And in the same way that you used to be friends with Lauren Southern and Blair White until suddenly you very much were not because it was no longer politically expedient for them to associate with you. The far right now considers you useful. Because you are. Because not only will you post something that enables their moral panic.
It's called being a useful idiot, to be perfectly blunt.
Again, we all make mistakes. But you will then go to reaffirm their moral panic in what is, let's be clear, a video that exists to do nothing other than defend your ego and further stigmatize the left, to frame them as defenders of Balenciaga, as unwilling to call out pedophilia. It's so curious how all of your condemnations seem to just weirdly avoid making the right angry, especially when their eyes are on you. I have no idea what kept you from acknowledging the far-right reaction to the tweets of pretending that people like Zan were themselves making up the association with queer people, as though there wasn't, people with tens of thousands of likes in your replies directly making that connotation. I don't know why you would do that outside of dishonesty. I don't know what else would motivate that. I have no idea why you would take a look at all of this and genuinely fully believe that with your power, your priority here was going after the people who are on the target lists of the people who were affirmatively responding to your tweets. I don't know why you didn't reply to those tweets with something else saying why are the far right so agitated about this? These are like billionaires. You should hey, tax them more, Lamau. I have no idea why you spent this entire video constructing a narrative in which you are the victim of some kind of protracted left effort to silence pedophiles.
I know why. I know exactly why. That's because the left actually held Shu responsible, and the far right is nice to her. Because the far right likes what she's doing, so of course she's not gonna go against the far right. Because the far right is not criticizing Shu on head, and the left is. This is why this whole video. It's all about Shu on head. Her
Though
ego.
the left has not been calling people like Matt Walsh a pedophile more loudly than they have ever said anything about anything. You really think the left has an issue with going after pedophiles? Do you seriously, genuinely believe that's a thing that's happening? I don't know why you would frame the whole cuties thing as though a bunch of liberals came out to defend it, but somehow ignore a hundreds of thousands of sub YouTuber Sneeko.
That's because she doesn't like being attacked. That's why.
I actually do. I can't believe I've been ignoring it. It's because you're f***ing lazy. It's because you get your info from the people you spend time with, and you spend time with the people who don't criticize you. And the far right is smart enough to bite their tongue and wait, and the left will criticize you day to day for your mistakes. So when you hear about...
See? Vaush has said it as well. That's because the left will criticize her. She doesn't like that. The right will not. They will bite their tongue. Exactly.
Anything.
Yeah.
You hear the right perspective on it. You know, you might go out and do subsequent research afterwards, but that initial bias is always laid. It always informs everything forthcoming. So when you think of cuties, you think, oh, that thing a bunch of liberal media people defended. Is that an actual, like, real bias association there? Well, maybe not, but it's what you heard, right? I think a lot of left-leaning people who watch Shu don't really understand. They don't really know how these processes function. But I want to make it clear. There is nothing impressive, progressive, bold, or anti-establishment about leaning on conspiracism, rolling the dice in the wind, and like not caring where they end up. Nothing about any of the videos that she's done on pedophilia are radical or revolutionary. Show them to any politician, any pundit, and you'll have people nodding along. Yeah, pedophilia is bad. Yeah, great, very bold, phenomenal. A statement so uncontroversial and unambiguously agreeable that you could get every prison inmate except the ones at a separate ward to agree with it. Phenomenal. If you want to do something subversive, if you want to challenge power, maybe question yourself, question, why are so many politicians who ostensibly disagree with every policy you have so chummy with you?
Exactly.
You know, why are pundits who, for some reason, despite disagreeing with you on every matter you seem to think defines your...
Because you're an useful idiot to them, that's why.
Your character and content, they seem to really like associating with you. People who you know are Machiavellian and self-interested when it comes to the people they associate with from prior experience. If you really want to lean in this direction, maybe you should look to the actual ways in which these systems of abuse are perpetrated. Because, you know, there was a lot of sexual abuse in the death camps. And I gotta say, the way things are going right now, Donald Trump calling to suspend the Constitution, the forthcoming legal conservative constitutional theory being one of ignoring the Constitution and promoting dictatorship. Marjorie Taylor Greene, a preeminently popular politician, in spite of being universally negative in every imaginable way, saying that if she had done January 6th, she would have done it with guns and she would have won. You know, if you really want to prevent children from being abused, maybe you should care a little bit more about whether or not the shit you say is going to lead to the emboldening of people who would have built those camps, or will in the future if given the chance. This is a real problem, and I know she knows it exists. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know. I've got it. Second revelation. They're my shoe. 2 shoes. How fitting. I've had a hard time criticizing Shu for a while in spite of a lot of objectionable behavior.
All right.
Because I get along with her. So how can I criticize her for doing that with the entire far right? If she...
So basically, that it's nice for Vaush to be able to acknowledge that there's like a conflict of interest because of the friendship. You know? You know?
If she blocks me over this, then that's her prerogative. I'm still happy to be friendly with her in private. But man, Jesus Christ. At this point, public association is just opening my own socials up to DMs from the kind of people who would put me to death. Freedom. So Reddit was right? I guess you really don't mess with the Reddit nation? No. My subreddit was entirely wrong and insufferable. I hate all of them, I despise them, and they were wrong. I am always right. I was right here. And the reason why I'm right now and they're wrong is because I'm built different and they're not. They're built the same. Never, ever, never, ever, ever, never gonna change. It's always gonna be like this. Follow-up questions, chat, go. This video was malice. I don't know. Frothing from the lips, she takes to her camera and puts the shoe on her head. Forget the far-right moral panic. You know, there are powerless queer people upset with my complicity in their behavior. It'll never be the end. They'll complain until you burn the bridge. Bending the knee to those people will never end respectfully. Oh, that's fine. People who have a problem with who I'm friends with can all die. I genuinely don't care about you people. You're psychotic, parasocial. I don't know why you're vying for my dick, because you'll never get it. You will never taste my load. I don't know what is wrong with you people. I uphold my responsibility as a public figure, time and time again. I am more committed, more consistent, more principled than anyone else in this space. There are so many bread tubers and left tubers who hold their shit in and keep quiet about mutual controversies because they know that they operate best, make the most money as a shared unit. I am the best. I have burnt every bridge, and I will choose to keep the ones, what's the opposite of burnt? Not intact? I will choose to keep those intact that I want. If anyone has a problem with that, that's on them. There is no bridge. You all realize that, right? The bridge doesn't exist. What you imagine the bridge to be, the bridge is just public association. You construct the bridge from your mind. You have no idea who I'm friends with from behind the scenes.
Ooh.
I might be friends with Destiny for you all, for all you know. I'm not, but I could be, and you wouldn't know it. My best friend, Mr. Girl. You know, you have no idea.
Oh my gosh.
Donald Trump, the bridges. You have no idea. Covert bridges. Yeah, only vermin would know. And they'll take that shit to their grave.
Oh my gosh.
Excuse me.
What the heck?
I usually like Shu, but she's talking like she's about to join the Gays Against Groomers group. Her rhetoric is identical to their rhetoric. The Gays Against Groomers leader, that lady, is a Nazi, like an actual Nazi from some of the stuff that got unearthed about her. But all of it's the same. As a gay, you know, I'm just so frustrated by how the queer community refuses. They're so, you know, groupthink. They refuse to call out the threat of grooming, you know? I think somebody needs to... Yeah. But I still think the anti-shoe moderates were caricatured despite our measured approach. The anti-shoe moderates were caricatured despite our measured approach, and the mods still banned my post. They should have banned you. You'll be fine. Pack it in, folks. Pack it in. You'll all be fine. Can you imagine? Listen. Here's how you gotta feel, okay? In no medium besides live streaming could your whinging ever have any outcome on the effect of a public figure who has hundreds of thousands of people watch them every week, you know? You go to anything else, radio, television, I'm a fucking wall, baby. Here in live streams, all you have to do is create an account and yell at me for a bit. Incredible. What power the audience has. Vaush, I hope this isn't another step towards leftist creators refusing to cooperate against the greater enemy. Oh, if only we were. If Shu does anything noteworthy or praiseworthy, I will praise it. And if she doesn't, I won't. That's always how I've operated. You, as a...
I deserve praise.
Let's just say, Buddha-like moral discipline and consistency. Did I not compliment Destiny doing the Georgia canvassing? I did, of course, point out that he only did it because, you know, the phantom of a leftist that exists in his mind whispered into it that, you know, he would be triggered if he did go canvass in Georgia. Which is true and really did happen. But legitimate praise to the actual act, you know. Even if he's just sort of being blown by the by the wind of spite, you know, if it leads him in a good direction, I think that's admirable and should be celebrated. And I dislike Destiny directly, probably more than literally anyone else online. Mostly because he's made such an effort to be a part of my life. It's a proximity.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, then he said I should die. Yes. I praise Contra videos, even though she was kind of a bitch to me. I've praised Bad Empanada's old videos. He's insane. What about Hassan? I think Hassan and I are fine against each other. Do you think Destiny only did the canvassing thing out of spite? As is often the case when I make statements like...
I would like to believe, okay? I would like to believe that... I think this segment was made after our talk, so I would like to believe that I reminded Vaush that Bar Empanada exists, okay? I would like to believe that I am the person that has reminded Vaush of Bar Empanada's existence.
Invisible leftist ghost inside of his mind. No, he probably had other reasons for doing it. I do think spite's a strong general motivator, you know? Can't really make a full assessment on any bit by bit. I'm sure he does some things that aren't spite-based. He brushes his teeth, I assume. he's got like a little cutout of a blue-haired lady with like a text box, and it's like, I'd hate it if Destiny brushes his teeth. Destiny never brushes his teeth. He looks and he's like, yeah, and The stopper will tell me that I should be dead again. We can't make him too mad. Remember, we're responsible for the consequence of our behavior, and I don't want to be responsible for his blood pressure spiking.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. You also would like a 2-minute rant on how you only did the PV22 thing solely for viewers and to overtake them in viewers. It's true. The whole time I had those meetings with the PV22 people, I had my little cutout of destiny.
Oh no. Oh no.
I'm sorry. It's really silly. He got me. Okay, stop. Come on. We've just given him a moment of content. There we go, lads.
All roads lead to the Steven universe, I guess.
Not blocked. Not yet, anyway. You praised Hassan when he debated Tate. I praise Hassan a lot. I don't have a problem with Hassan. I don't agree with everything he does, but that's the case for all people. You know, I don't feel that way about anyone.
I think Vaush agrees with everything I say. And it's logical because I'm never wrong. Did you enjoy this? If you have enjoyed this, then you should subscribe. Then you should become a Patreon. And also you should talk to me in the chat because we're gonna play some game before finishing the stream. Okay? We have to defeat the Bahamut. This is our destiny, to defeat Bahamut. Like, but not Steven Destiny. I mean, I used to remember when Destiny and Vaush had similar sub counts. True. I remember when Steven and Vaush used to be on friendly terms. When the Irish laddie used to call in to Steven and they would discuss things. I remember that. You know? But sadly Destiny like had a lot more subs now. How many subs does Destiny have? Wait, how many? Wait, I'm gonna check it out now. Destiny. How many subs does he have? Destiny does not have that many more subs than Vaush. Vaush has 418. Destiny has 597. My real life friend has more subs than both of them. 700,000. Like, I'm gonna turn on the browser. So, Destiny is at 597k. Vaush is 418. Now look at this, okay? MC Quadrat, this is my friend. How many does she have? MC Square is my real life friend. He's like a Polish YouTuber. She has 756k subscriptions. So she's a pretty big content creator in Poland. Okay? She actually made a video
Czaje, o których Wam
about Vietnamese culture recently.
opowiedziałam, były dla Was ciekawe. Drogie siostry, bracia, ciocie, wujkowie, babcie i dziadkowie. Jeżeli jesteście zainteresowani...
So yeah, she's a pretty big creator. But now we must defeat Bahamut. Okay, it's time. She does popular science, and also recently she has also started to do more Vietnam culture stuff. Like the newest video is about Vietnamese cultural trivia. Oh, Justina, thank you so much. I'm catching up, but I love that Lucy said they said the same thing, so now they need the same audience size. I'm here for it. Thank you so much. We're gonna play some game now. We're gonna try to defeat Bahamut. She's really pretty. I wish I spoke Polish. Yeah, I think I will create subtitles for her videos. If you want to see a video that has subtitles from her and give her some love, then I will link a video to which I have personally done English subtitles, okay? This is like a video to which I have contributed. Yeah, she has, Karasu. She's done a lot of interesting stuff, you know? And she actually did also a post about my fundraiser to her audience as well, you know? So, yeah, Bahamuti! Yeah, we will defeat Bahamut. I'm doing pretty well. Her name is Huynh, you know, Huynh in Vietnamese. Bahamuti! Should I start Polish lessons on my streams or something? We could do that. You know? I do brand myself as a history and as a language streamer, so I could possibly do some language related stuff pretty soon. Ah, Lucy, I love that you sound like a sweet little angel, but you're so sassy. Look forward to seeing more. Thank you so much. Thank you. I look forward to seeing more of you. That's awesome, she did that for you. I only caught the end, but the fundraiser seemed really fun. Yeah, it was really nice. And I had my talk with Vaush, and I have defeated Vaush in the debate. Like, come on! Vaush has been defeated by me in the market board of ideas. Because you know I have the best arguments. I'm like a boom boom boom. Press 1 on type boom 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 if you'd like me to do more language related content, possibly a Polish language lesson. Would you like this to happen? Is this something that you'd like to see? Yes, terms on fascist apology is very profitable. In reference to Destiny, I mean. Well, she would say as well at this point. She has a massive audience, and I bet a lot of it is right-wing, okay? I have a massive audience as well. Do you know how so many subscribers I have? You will hear this and you will be like shocked. My number of subscribers right now is 450! My gosh, I became a huge content creator. Like, with such big audience comes a great responsibility, okay? I will do my best to be responsible with this huge audience, okay? Like, Lucy is actually the biggest Polish trans creator. I actually objectively am the biggest Polish trans creator. I was already the biggest Polish trans creator when I only had like 200 subs. Okay? Vaush has had a bit of a growth spur recently, though I didn't move a whole lot for a while. Oh. Do you think I will have a growth spur? I think I'm experiencing a pretty big growth spur right now. I think so. I think I'm growing at a pretty... The problem is that I cannot create content on a really consistent basis right now, or I don't even stream consistently right now because I visit the clinic every day almost. But that's the important thing, you know, to visit mom and to be there for her as she recovers, you know, from the surgery. Also, she is not able to eat everything, so I also help with eating the meals. It's true, because they give mom too much. This is a weird policy that I will run. At the clinic, they give mom 2 big portions, so she cannot eat it all. And she even asks, "Can you give me smaller portions because I don't eat it, and food goes to waste?" And they say, we definitely cannot do that because you might accuse us of not giving you enough food. So when I come and there's a meal, I usually help mom eat it. You know? But she's still a person who kept his humanity despite growing massive. It's true, Karasu. I also will keep my humanity. Or I will do my best. Look, they are fighting Bahamut. Oh my. Uraga? Shell. I think Shell is a really good spell. Astaga. This is a difficult ball. But I will defeat! Come on! Die, Bahamut! Will I win against Bahamut? What do you think? Stay tuned. Holy crap. That's overpowered. Defeated! Destroyed! You're Ducanity, you mean? Yeah, you're my Ducanity. Or Ducanity, yeah, I know. I never talk, but I have been here a long time. Oh, Maxine Sakaki, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm really happy to see you here. I'm like a ducky. Receive the summon monster Bahamut. You haven't told me if you want me to do more language content. Destroy, it's true. Okay. Okay, we can now teleport out of here. I think it's fair. Wow. We're so powerful now. We have defeated Bahamut, my favorite summon in any FF game. Same. I think we're doing so well. I'm so happy with this. We have done real goals. Let's... do I have summon in any? Let's try, okay? I should switch summon to summoner. I have all those cool summons by. Nice. I must find the last tablet and I will have all the weapons then. Of course, consider becoming a Patreon for Luciaze. Okay? I think it's pretty good. I think Vaush does a lot of good. I think Vaush could use growth. I think Zanderhal could use growth. I think Demon Mama definitely deserves a lot more growth. And I think Shark deserves more growth. And of course, it would be remiss of me not to mention that I believe that Lucy Haze deserves more growth, okay? I think it's important for us to create a nice sphere that can promote mutual help, organizing, and love and solidarity. That is the, how should I put it? The antithesis to the Steven universe, to the cynical Steven universe. Like a nice group based on mutual aid that can organize finances, that can sort of organize communities and redirect them to really good causes. And I think in that sense, Vaush growing is a good thing because he can be such a force for good, you know? I believe that. And I believe we can create a broader community that can create real positive change in the real world and affect real lives, if that makes sense. Am I making any sense to you? Do you think I'm being sensible? Does that make sense what I'm saying? I'm not sure if she should be included. I think only if she changes her behavior, to be honest. You know? Because she's basically enabling and supporting the far right with her rhetoric. So she's basically hurting a lot of people with what she's doing. You know? Like, I mean people that actively help, you know? For example, the community overall has really came together to help me. So I would say that I'm really thankful for that. And it shows how far love and solidarity goes to create positive outcomes, you know? Does that make sense? Love and solidarity can go a long way. Organizing, you know? I believe so. Hello, Connor. Come on. What do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you think I'm full of poo-poo? Read it. Okay, I think I'm missing the flame one. Underground. Yeah, makes sense. So yeah. So I believe in that sense, Vaush growing is good. And Lucy growing is definitely the best thing that can happen. Come on! He's being like a giggler! I will create some new very nice segments for everybody. I will try to be like a real giggler. Yeah, I'm a good example, you know. I approached Vaush and he was very, like, I'm extremely small. And Vaush was still very receptive when it came to the idea of talking to me, you know. Like, Vaush has had really nice correspondence with me, even though from his perspective, I might as well be a nobody at this point, because when I approached Vaush, I had like a little over 300 subscriptions. You know? So I can plug in at times important events to him or make comments on certain things. Yeah, true. So I definitely super agree with what Karasu is saying, you know, that even though Vaush is really big, Vaush is not super arrogant, you know. Vaush is not super arrogant. You see how Destiny reacted when he was challenged on his idea of progressive orthodoxy or platforming Nick. Exactly, you know. And you have seen that when Vaush did the... Vaush even mentions it in this video. He did the whole pride thing, you know, kink at pride, and then he saw that he was not correct on this, so he changed his position, and that is not something that you will see Steven do, okay? Steven will double, triple down, make a purge, and then call the person or people criticizing him crazy. And you might be able to plug through Vaush local Polish issues. That was the original reach out. Exactly. And then sort of Vaush reached out to me by asking me if there's like a charity stream going on, and I replied that yes, and it was really nice of him to want to come on that stream and talk to me. I have been streaming for some time, but I have not been active, you know. Like, I basically started streaming more active when my voice became viable for streaming, you know, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? So I guess, like, it's hard to say, because I have not been very active or consistent. So it's not a thing that is easy to answer for me. Does that make sense as an answer? How do you find Lucy's content? Yeah, I am still practicing my voice, and I have had a really good teacher. I still have a really good teacher. She's called Savvy, and she's like a French voice trainer. She does voice feminization. She does voice masculinization for anyone interested in that. And she also does beatboxing. So if you want to become a beatboxer, you should go to Savvy. You know? Does that make sense? Beatboxing is nice. But I cannot afford to buy lessons just to do beatboxing. So I focus on the feminization. You know? Thank you, Brina. Come on. Brina, thank you. Come on. Tower of Valze. If we don't find the place that we need to find, then we might have to finish. But yeah. Also consider becoming a Patreon, because that will help me not die. You know? The more Patreons I have, the less. Can she help someone pass as being native to a language? Yes. Yes, she can. She definitely can. What's this place? Oh. I think I'm ready to defeat the mime now, actually. Where's the... summon? Where's the summon? Wait. Oof. Summon. Okay, we will defeat the mime and then I sleep. That's the plan for now. Also, we are actually... I think we might catch up to Will the panelist soon. Legendary Warrior achievement. I wonder how many people have unlocked it. 39% of people have unlocked the Legendary Warrior achievement. Not many. We're becoming pretty strong now. Elixir. Enemies here drop elixirs? Let's defeat the mime. Oh gosh. There we go. We're doing pretty well here. On that front. President Sunday also deserves much more growth. While we're at it, while we're at people who deserve growth. Uh-huh. That's not... You did not mimic my spell. That's not mimicry, you coward. Mimic this. I definitely should not attack with boots anymore. I don't think I stand a chance against the mime right now. I have to find the... Before I sleep, I have to really find the place. The underwater fireplace. I have to find... One moment, Gigglers. We will find it before sleep. Where is it? Aha! Okay, the map says it's where? Let me see. think it's somewhere. Underground. Let me see. Okay, let's see. Where is this? A crack. Let me see if we can find it. Okay, I think I can. Then I will quickly go to the toilet. Be right back. Don't go anywhere, okay? I have returned. Come on. Okay, let's find this place. And then we will dip our toe into the dungeon. Possibly nap. Oops. Let's see. Is this the... Is this the place? I think so. Somewhere around here we have a crack at the bottom of the ocean. Oh. I think the crack is here. Found the crack. It said that you cannot save here. Right? It's a bit sad that you cannot save here. We'll save the game like this. And then let's dip our toe into the dungeon proper. Alright. Alrighty then. Black Mage. Oh, Black Mage is mastered. White Mage. Which means we will do it like this. Dungeon crawling, I might pass out sleeping, though you actually around ahead in my time. Let's see by itself. I might go to sleep soon as well, Karasu, but I'm just dipping my, because I actually will have to go leave tomorrow morning to go to the clinic, you know. So this is turning into like, I might not have much sleep tonight before I have to get up and go to the clinic to visit Mom. So I think we will go outside of the dungeon now. I will sleep in the submarine, save, and finish up the stream and sleep in real life as well. I think we have had a nice stream, and tomorrow when I'm back from the clinic I will work on the segments and we will be happy like a family. Okay, so I'm done here. We will finish the stream, Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. You are all real gigglers. And I will press end stream. Boom. Good night. Come on.